Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Uraidla Oval in Heathfield for the Call to Old filming footy coverage of the 2022 Hills Football League Division 1 season. Jeff Pasola with you on a busy day for the Call to Old. Two streams operating today, of course. Country Division Grand Finals have been covered out at Macclesfield, together with the Division 1 coverage here at Heathfield, featuring the A-grade preliminary final between Lobethal and Uraidla districts. And with the team's A-listers out at other venues, it's fantastic to welcome back into the Call to Old a man who's taken the filming footy Adelaide Footy League coverage by storm. A pleasure to have the 500 man Indy Rogers join me in commentary. Back, Indy, good to see you.
Good to see you too again, Pistols. Haven't called a Hills Football League game since Grand Final Day last year for the A grade, so been a long time coming, but it's very great to be out here, and especially with this game between two familiar sides at this stage of the year, Lobethal and Uraidla. Both have played Grand Finals against Harndorf before. Neither have been able to beat them, but it's only fitting that both teams come up against each other for a second consecutive prelim.
Yeah, absolutely. We can actually say conditions aren't too bad here at Uraidla Oval in Heathfield. Of course, we've had about 40 mil later in the week, Indy, but ground has come up pretty good. A few little soft patches as you'd expect, but ground looking pretty good. Lovely spring conditions, big crowd in the house, and as you said, two traditional rivals since 1967, Indy. They've actually met 17 times, and as you said, a great rivalry. Uraidla actually lead head-to-head 9-8, and as you've mentioned, they've actually only played in 3 preliminary finals over that time, and Lobethal lead 2-1, and as you alluded to, a big win in the preliminary final last year to Uraidla, so definitely the Tigers will be looking to bounce that and reverse that trend, and as you said, the winner of this to go on and play Harndorf in the grand final next week. So good conditions here at the moment. Teams just moving into their positions, and it looks like Lobethal will be king to the right of your screen. All those who know Heathfield over the Longwood Road end, Uraidla district's going down the hill towards the new clubroom, something that's a new innovation since you were last year, Indy, the $1 million unisex clubrooms. So we're underway, preliminary final, last dance for one of these sides. So in the centre will be Braidwood against Landers. Ball comes down centre square. Landers gets the ball out to Amado. Flicks it back to Landers. Finally, first kick of the game. Forward, here comes to Mitch Jenkins, back in the side this week. Ball comes out, tapped it by Braidwood, taken it by Collins. So the Tigers go the first inside 50. Ball taken back here. Good defensive mark taken by Paddy Kepper.
So Kepper plays onto the outer side for Uraidla. They'll try and use the downhill side to advantage in this opening term and later on in the third. They're going to play from the back end of this respective wing. Going with a long kick, it didn't come off the right end of the boot. Pressure being applied early here. They continue moving it in motion off of the boot of Clark. We believe that was at the far end. And it stays there. Amado once again trying to fend off his opponent, which he's done many times this year, and it made him pull high in the male medal vote count.
Yeah, third this year, and as you said, a previous winner, so Nick Amado, although ineligible this year through a red card early in the year. Here's Riley, gets the ball to Peter Banton, goes bang towards the centre of the ground. Brother Jack lurking below the top, taking good markers. Luke Thomas, who's had a sensational final series so far for the Demons, nurses the ball forward. It's a misdirected kick and taken here by Peter Banton. So Banton just inside the 50-metre defensive arc for the Tigers as they work up the hill first term, preliminary final. Trust you're enjoying on Call of the Wild through filming footy, brought to you by Closely Supermarkets and Sport Hill. Ball out wide right in front of the scoreboard, temporary scoreboard, which is a good innovation. Jenkins involved there. Braidwood, long sweeping handball up here. Cooper Skinner banging up his Jenkins. It's good to see him back in the side. Mitch variety puts it forward. But getting back is Tommy Kluvenik, takes a defensive mark for the Demons.
Another intercept for Uraidla as Lobethal failed to go forward once again, at least effectively. Amado takes one, hands off to a teammate, and finds another teammate in the middle of the ground, but Worthley's under a lot of pressure. And that's the type of pressure that you want from a prelim final. Lobethal not letting it go anywhere. In fact, the Demons are yet to get a forward 50 entry, so for the poor conversion, at the very least, they're not conceding out the other end. Comes back in for another ball up, stays in the centre square. Amado lurking but refusing to go down. Riley applying a lot of tackling pressure though, and he's also the coaching player of the day, Aidan Riley for Lobethal.
So umpire Scott Bowe puts the ball up. Here's Banton again, ball held in. Umpire Scott Bowe ruling a rule. It'll go to that man Amato. So Nick Amato on that left foot puts down towards the wing area. Good strong mark taken by Roland Archie. Good game last week as he shows the form, made him a Suns rookie listed player in the past. Puts it long, here's that first real inside 50 over the back of the pack. Ball spills, dangerous. Lurking was the dangerous Allen, who's kicked 7 goals in the 2 finals matches for the Demons. Umpire Bruce Dawes will come in, because umpire Dawes, Reece Williams and Scott Bowen charge this after. Here's the ball. Braidwood goes backwards, go forward. Here's Fuller, the former coach, puts up the centre. Thomas always with the mark. Lurking is Cooper Luke, grabs the ball. This way, that way. Crowd screaming for holding the ball. No, said the umpire. Scott Bowe watching intently, and finally will come in and ball up. We've had 3.5 minutes gone. No score in the preliminary final here from Argabar Oval and Heathfield.
Ball up, right on the 50-metre arc line, favouring Uraidla's end, and they're going to get a free entry here as well from a free kick from the stoppage.
Jesse Landers.
Jesse Landers. He's slow to take the kick. I'm not sure if he's elected to 30. The umpire's giving him the required time, so he must have taken it. Landers sets sail off the left. The drop punt comes in, over to the right pocket. No mark taken, but a whistle comes through, and that's going to go against the Demons. So Lobethal with a chance to try and move it coast to coast here.
Yeah, Jimmy Braidwood paid the defensive mark right in the last line of defence, as called by Indy Rogers. Good to have him back on board. He chips up the line to Fuller. So Matty Fuller long on the outer side wing. Target there is Carter, got his hands to it. The big man takes a mark. Ball down from his forward position, because 62 goals for the season. Big Mitch Carter puts it across here to Riley. Hello to everyone in Illawarra watching our stream. Gets it across here to the run of the Squid and Giorgio, the captain. Arches the back, goes towards half-forward flank. Target out here, and a good grab taken by Jacob Collins for the Tigers. So the Tigers pressing forward here. No score on the board. As I said, come out to 5 minutes gone. Division 1 preliminary final. High kick forward. They're over the fence over the back there. Gresh getting involved. The iron fist. Ball spills. Lurking is Sewer, who was an inclusion last week, but he's infringed the Raider defender there in Gresh. He'll take the free kick, last line of defence.
So a couple of missed opportunities from both teams early in this stage of the game. No score for either. Easy mark here coming for Ferrari. He assesses the options off of half-back. The sun seething over the entire oval despite the wet conditions week. Massive spoil coming in from the Lobethal defence down the line, and a really great one from Braidwood in particular. So that'll result in the ball coming out of bounds, and we're at the 5.5 minute mark. No score from either team. So
throw an interchange pavilion side of Arkabar Oval. Scooter Taylor ducking the head there, trying to burst through. Got to boot the ball. Oh, quick hands there for Ferrari. Got it to Amado. He slung as he kicked it forward, but fortuitously finds Todd Price just on the edge of the 50-metre arc. So Demons looking to go deep. Turlick on the lead. He's called to play on. Tried a bit of magic. He's run down from behind by Collins, and then he'll be holding the cherry. So not very good awareness there from Todd Price. So Lobethal through the agency of Jacob Collins, this former Norwood player, back first year back at the Tigers. So nurses the ball to corridor and finds Braidwood. Oh, coughs up what he should have gotten. Here's the jockey, Oscar Walters, a David and Goliath style there. Indy, and perhaps a bit unlucky not to get a free kick for holding the ball there, Oscar Walters, but umpire Dawes will come in and ball up.
Fans were certainly disappointed with the lack of call. Ball up in the centre square. Riley trying to scavenge it out. More support comes in for the Tigers as Bampton gets it out, but his kick is cut off and intercepted. What about that? Behind the back mark there from Turner, not too bad. Now Ferrari, he's got a bit to work around because the mark wasn't taken. Tackling pressure being applied by Auric. And a ball up just outside the centre square on the near side wing.
So, ball up. Cooper Skinner doing the ruck work. Then the Riley deflected off him. The pig dog goes back. Here's Peter Bampton again. Good strong work at ground level by the ruckman and Landers. Comes to Collins. Oh, a bit of candy shown by Fuller. Threads his way through. Thought of a handball. That's on the Barry to Barrel. Puts it forward towards Carter. One grab, two grab. Comes back to Carter. He's looking for support. Goes inboard to the run of Mitchy Grigg on that left. Curls it. Bounce. Bounce. Through for a major. First score on the board to Lobethal.
Fantastic play there from the stoppage. Only fitting that Mitch Grigg finished it off, because I reckon they're going to need some of their best on ballers and most talented to come to play here. It'll set the tone for the rest of the game, and We're at the 7.5 minute mark now as we continue to tick down time, and we have our first score of the game now going to Lobethal.
Yep, 35th goal for the season, Indy. It's Mitch Grigg, as we know, a renowned midfielder who loves drifting forward and knows where the goals are, as shown on that occasion. A fine finishing, bouncing effort, and good work by Carter to set it up. So umpire Dawes get underway back in the centre. Once again, it'll be Landers against Braidwood. Braidwood gets down the throat of Peter Bank for the Tigers. Runs through the pitch area, gets it to Grigg, the goal kicker. He's dispossessed there by Slade. So Demons get a chance to counter and go forward. Price is the target. He's under pressure from the Sheriff Elliott. Takes him over the boundary line. The Academy boy lurking and says, I will have it, and pitch the ball back in. Of course, the Academy boys this afternoon, James O'Leary, Jordan Crisp and Cam Rule.
Boundary throw in to the Uraidla forward line. Can the options make amends at this opportunity? The Tigers clear it out, coming off of the boot of Maxwell, goes out to the far side. Competition for the ball ends with no particular victor as it spills over the boundary line, and we have another throw in on the far side. Lots of sun over here at Mount Lofty Oval today.
Bit different than it was a couple of days ago. India, as we said, 40 mil of rain, but over on pretty good nick, and a good crowd in the house here in lovely sunny conditions, spring conditions we may say. So, as I said, last chance for these two sides to work through to the big dance next week against Harndorf, and of course you'll be seeing all that, the whole day's action on Call to Wild filming footy. Meanwhile, preliminary final action locked in again, so umpire Dawes earning his money early. So he'll ball up Braidwood. Wrestling there with Landers. Landers got it down. Here's Riley, just typically shrugs off an opponent, gets the handball to Maxwell. Maxwell goes long, but on this occasion wide and out of bounds on the forward. It'll be Tommy Kluvenik to bring the ball back in for the Demons.
On the far side, plays it safe with a little chip kick to a uncontested teammate, but then goes more ambitious down the corridor. It didn't pay off. Now Lobethal on the rebound through Mitch Grigg is going to go on his left foot. He wanted to keep it low. He missed the first target, but another picks it up in Skinner, and he misses to the left. So our first minor score of the game also goes to Lobethal, and a bit of a wasted opportunity there by the Tigers. It looked like just a bit more composure from Skinner would have resulted in a major score
Cooper
there.
Skinner has just about kicked a goal in every game this season, I think. I think last week he missed out, was the first time, so he knows where the goals are, but on that occasion perhaps a bit more talk he could have steadied. But anyway, minor score, so 1-1 plays no score on the Sportal scoreboard. Sportal, leading the world of technology, a great South Australian company. Ball comes down here, lurking there's Bampton, cricket pitch area. Umpire Bow alleges infringed in the back, so Peter Bampton quickly puts it across to a teammate here in Fuller. Four North teammates combining there. Gets away on that left, nurses it in, and it's a very good pass, finds Maxwell, who's drifted up from his defensive post. So he will take a shot here, Indy, from just inside, from about 48 metres, I'd suggest. Has kicked 9 for the season, Indy, so he knows where the goals are.
Yeah, the man on the mark in Amato is standing within the arc, but I reckon the kick will come from outside as he lets it set sail here on that left. It's not quite going to make the roost, so it's going to come down to the tip of the pack, but there's a free kick, played to advantage, and then snapped around the body for another Lobethal goal.
Yep, Jackie Bampton, that's called by Indy Rogers there, took the opportunity with the play advantage, but they're definitely a push in the back there as the ball come in. So Tigers, all the scoring, as we said, looking to revenge last year when they only kicked 4 goals for the game, Indy, and they've got 2-1 on the board. Uraidla yet to score, so certainly on the way to redemption from last year's probably disappointing fade out of the 2021 Premiership chase.
Absolutely, they'd be looking to compete with Harndorf again. They lost that grand final back in 2020, only by a couple of goals, mind you. They could certainly compete, and it was 5 points last week.
So back in the centre, Braidwood, Landers, 0-0 draw. Here's Amato working hard, dispossessed, quick kick home away, bouncing ball. Here's a chance for Archie, taps it to Alan, the danger man, the X-Factor. Thought about a handball, perhaps had prior, umpire Bo right on the spot, and says, yes, you did have prior, Harry. So it'd be Riley Skinner in the Tiger sleeves will take the resultant free kick. So half-back flank area, puts it up in front of our broadcast side. Thomas in the bus over the top. Oh, nearly holding it there was Collins. Goes to ground under a couple of demons. Ball held in there. So coming to 13 minutes gone, and it's a 13-point lead to Lobie, 2-1. Demons yet to get on the board. Tap down. Comes back down there to Peter Bampton, held up there by Scott Taylor. So the Scott's getting involved as Scott Bow pitches the ball up.
Ball up in what's arguably the muddiest part of the ground. Another tackle comes through. It's timed by Cooper Spry, making sure the ball doesn't go anywhere. As each consecutive stoppage inches closer to the tip of the centre square, and Amato comes in with an early tackle over the top and locks one in for another stoppage. Very tight play here.
So umpire Bow sets it up. Landers. Brave got the tap out. Here's a chance for Scooter Taylor. Steals it, gets a handball out towards Amato. Oh, he's well collared by Collins. Perhaps dispossessed illegally. Yes, it was. So Collins has had a few touches already in the opening stages of this preliminary final. Has spent some time at Nord, first season with the Tiger strip. So puts it forward. Carter lumbering out. Got a few defenders. The beat comes down the throat of Sewer. Grabbing the ball there is Rudliff. Very strong game last week in the first semi-final, thrilling win over Mount Barker. So, ball up. Taken out of the ruck by Carter, snaps around the body. Here's Cooper Skinner, pursued there by Brazier. But in the meantime, the goal umpire signals out, because the goal umpires today, Chris Tanner and Alan Christian. So, good crowd in the house. No spare parking spots here at Arkabar Oval and Heathfield. As Indy Rogers said, sun just disappearing momentarily behind the cloud, but good conditions for footy.
Yeah, certainly better than most of the year as we step into the early stages of spring and therefore September. Another stoppage is grinded to a halt here through immense tackling pressure, but it's in forward territory for the Tigers. Just shoves his man out of the ruck contest, and how about that from Mitch Carter? Completely outmuscled his opponent and scored from the stoppage. That's the first 3 goals of the game to the Lobethal Tigers.
Yeah, great bodywork there, as you called Indy. Just, it's a big boy, and he has the occasional run as a chop out and ruck, but mainly stays in the forward lines. As we said, he came in the game with 62, finished second in the goal kicking list this season, kicked his first for the afternoon, so he's 63rd for the season. Just great body strength, took the ball, and as I said, knew where the goals are. So, Tigers, 19-point lead midway through this first term, so good start. So playing coach Aidan Riley would be very happy. As I said, they kicked 4 goals in last year's prelim. They've nearly equalled that already. 15 minutes. Here's that man Riley as we speak. Ground level, got it out to Taylor. Well tackled by Cooper Luke. Ball comes out. Here's a chance now for Harry Allen. Wormburner forward, bouncing ball, intercepted by the Sheriff. Shows a bit of candy, Elliott, and puts it back from whence it comes. Here's another key defender in this final series in Luke Thomas, taking a good mark to repel that attack for the Demons. So Luke Thomas, half-back flank wing area, outer side of Heathfield Oval, puts it forward. Ball comes to ground. McWater's getting involved there. Comes out here. Good pressure there from Fuller. Ball locked at ground level. And umpire Bow will come in and ball it up. So 16 minutes ticked over in the preliminary final. On thanks to Closey Supermarkets and Sportal for their coverage here on the court of the ball.
Stoppage out at the far end. All 4 centre clearances in this game thus far have actually been won by Uraidla, surprisingly, in spite of the lack of score on the board. Big tackle there from Cooper Luke, making sure it goes nowhere. He's got tight grip on his opponent, and that'll be useful, especially if they are to play Harndorf next week. Another stoppage comes through here, this time the tackling pressure being applied by Harry Allen of the opposition team. Now Lobethal, with some clever hand passes, clear it out, find a forward 50 option, but unfortunately the intended target slipped over and Josh Sewer there. Now he's got to come back for a second effort, but it's called push in the back, and Uraidla will take possession of the ball from the defensive 50.
So the news, Tommy Klubenek, past skipper, spent some time in the ranks, and Sturt goes up the line. Is Riley, tough as old boots, gets it back to Braidwood, gets it to Peter Bampton. He's got time to wheel around, lift the eyes, and streaming out is that man Carter. He'll give it to runner Maxwell, who'll have one bounce, loads up from inside the square, but he's just off line, a little to the right, so through for a minor score, but That's an interesting stat there, Indy. The fact that the set of clearances have been won by Uraidla, but they're yet to get on the board as the Tigers lead 3-2 to no score, 7.5 minutes gone.
Building many opportunities from turnovers so far. Uraidla will have to be cautious with their ball use. Jacob Ferrari wants to kick further down the line. Good spoil coming through from James Elliott. He's got support, but he's also got a lot of pressure on his back from Amado. Amado's looking at the umpire. The umpire was indecisive. He took a while to call that one, but eventually decided no prior opportunity. It'll be a ball up on the near wing.
Umpire getting some advice from Amado and also the balcony crowd here, Indy.
Comes back through. Another tackle applied by Cooper Luke. He'd have plenty in this match already.
Battle to Cooper's there, Cooper Luke, Cooper Sprite.
Another ball up on the muddiest patch of the ground, just across from it. Riley doesn't want the opponent to go anywhere with that one, and he's got a very tackle-capable body. The ball just struggling to progress too much one side or the other here. We're stuck on this near wing. It's quite a sticky situation for both the teams, and Uraidla have to find a new route to goal somehow.
Cooper Sprite loving life at the moment. It's 3 balls gone straight to him. He's been wrapped up in big tackles. Here he is again. He gets another one from Maxwell. Umpire Bowie just watching on. And finally will come in and board up for yet again. So a scrappy passage of football at the moment. Indy in front of the balcony, which is full of plenty of advice, as we said. So Braidwood ungainly got the ball forward. Here's Taylor trying to burst his way through. Comes out to Worthley. He goes to the ground. Pressure there from little Jack Bampton and Riley. So umpire Bowie will come in and ball up once again. So we've had about 4 or 5 ball ups in about 30 seconds. So ball comes out into Maxwell going to ground. Well, might be heading for another one. As Thomas pulls the ball in underneath him. Taylor at ground level also. Worthley involved. And I think that's the way it's going to go. So it's a ball up feast at the moment for the ruckman.
Yeah, it'd be a grind for a lot of the on-ballers right now. Already some bruised bodies from what's already occurred this final series, and more bruises could come out of today. But right now, Uraidla playing a little bit bruise-free, or at least the scoreboard suggests. That clearance not going anywhere and being intercepted. The kick ultimately around the body from Luke Thomas. Didn't advance the way he wanted to. Another mark down here for Lobethal on the near wing. This is Skinner with the ball in hand. He goes on the right foot. It's a bit of a 2-on-1 situation here in the forward line. Uraidla had the favourable crummers, but Lobethal just trying to tag along with the pressure, can't force it.
So Rudloff gets to the open paddock. Here's a chance for Brazier. He's under immense pressure from the Tigers. Well done by Stafford. Gets it back to Grigg. Grigg with a long sweeping handball to Carter. Carter will kick hands back to Stafford. He's got time to steady and have a ping. I tell you what, Jack Stafford, wouldn't be too many games that he kicks goals, but when he does, they count, and that's a fantastic finish. Great work, also Grigg getting involved, and also Carter. So, 4th on the board here for the Tigers. 21 minutes expired here.
Well, this game is getting to the stage of being dangerously close from completely slipping out of the Demons' grasp, and even a hope of a comeback at the moment seems quite vague.
I think if we think back to that game at Cullington last year, that this was the same scenario, but the boot was on the other foot.
Absolutely. Lobie had at least won both of the games and matchups against Uraidla this year though, so 3rd time not so lucky in this case for the Demons. At least that looks to be the case. The first centre clearance of the game for Lobethal, believe it or not, and it could result in a 5th goal. Little chip kick forward came from Maxwell. Pressure being applied. Taking his time to compose himself as Auric goes to the 1-on-1 down in the left pocket. No mark taken by Braidwood. They want to keep it alive though. Work around the traffic that's there. It didn't bounce. Yes, it bounced favourably. Goes up to some teammates and gets some high fives. It's high fives all around right now for Lobethal. 5-2. We're at the 22-minute mark. We're into the time on stage, and they have set the tone to be very comfortable candidates to compete with Harndorf in next week's grand final already.
The big man Jimmy Braidwood, who won our Call of the Wild most effective player beanie last week, certainly been effective around the goals there in the pocket. Very agile. You always sense when there's a bit of danger for the Demons when playing coach Dean Turlick brings himself up the field, usually stationed down at the forward, because coming into this game with a little bit of perhaps hamstring, ankle issue. We saw him not complete the game last week, but he's out there. But you can always sense when there's a bit of urgency when the coach moves himself out to have a bit of influence. At the moment, centre circle again. Ball held up there, but yeah, great start by the Tigers. 5-2-32 to no reply here on the scoreboard, and also thanks to Closey for the Call of the Wild exclusive sponsorship through the Hills Football League final series, and don't forget the Country Division Grand Finals on offer today. And we'll try to bring you some scores from our other crew down at Macclesfield Oval. So Amato, centre of the ground. Now it's going to come back to Big Angus Clark, who's such a good performer. Here we'll give it back to Amato, so this time we'll get it. Shoots the handball over to Humphrey Thomas. Tries a weaving run here. Runs straight into trouble. Dispossessed. Good attack on the ball by Carter. Tries to toe poke it forward. Big Clark holding his ground there. Will hold up this challenge. So as the big men grapple there, Carter and Clark. Nil-all situation, so umpire Dawes will come and ball up. So Cooper Skinner having a chop out and ruck, wins it down. Jack Banton couldn't get it. Cooper Luke in there, finally gets a clear out to Jack Banton. He's run over the top by Kepper, dispossessing the cricket pitch area. Worthley goes to ground under pressure from Greg. Greg appeals to the umpire and wins a free kick right in the centre of the ground.
So Greg to get the second centre clearance for Lobethal. And it's an effective one with that. Mark in the inside 50 with a 25-metre penalty to be paid alongside with it. Peter Bampton is going to get a free shot at goal. You're back in 9 times out of 10, almost 10 at this stage. He's kicked 14 goals this year. This for number 15 and this for goal number 6 in a row.
Was a leading goal kicker down at Norwood a couple of years ago.
And off he goes, and off the ball goes straight into the car parks. It'll take a while to retrieve that one, and I think Uraidla would probably prefer that and might need an extra moment to catch some breath here, because I think they're being a little stunned from what's unfolding right now at Mount Lofty Oval.
I'll tell you what, Indy, Jaden J style fact here, Lobethal have not beaten Uraidla in a major round game since 2002 grand final when the two played off. So 20 years, obviously they haven't played every year, but they have not beaten them for 20 years in any final. So they're certainly setting the course for redemption here today. As you said, 5-2-32 plays no reply on the Sport All Closey Supermarket scoreboard. So back in the centre, Ken Uraidla mount a challenge late in this term, at least get something on the board. Ball comes down here to Spry. Meanwhile, it's going to come back here to Amato, who's actually had a few possessions. But here they go, inside 50. Can they mount something? This Price got his hand to the ball. Going to ground there. It's fierce tackling there, like a rolling rugby scrum. Uraidla desperate at least break the ice here, as umpire Dawes will come in and ball up some 30 metres from the Uraidla goal.
Tap out favours the Tigers. An early whistle comes over, and this will give Uraidla their first legitimate scoring opportunity of the game. Archie will be taking the set shot on a fairly acute-looking angle. Not from the most demanding of distances, but this will be for goal number 13, and it could be his most important goal of the year, just to breathe a little bit of life into what looks like a corpse right now without it. And he's just missed that one to the far side.
He raised the cobra, but I think the goal umpire put it back in the pot for him. He's about the only one who was enthusiastic about that. So, Giorgio runs out, puts the ball up the line at the wing areas. Thomas across the top takes a very strong mark, so he'll send the ball back in. 27 minutes just about to expire, so 5 goals for the quarter, so could be a little bit of extra time on. Good defensive ball. Here's the chance for Turlick. Quick hands to Ockie the jockey, Walters. Spilt there by Allen under pressure, and Riley Skinner just happy enough to work it over the boundary line.
Well, that's what finals pressure's all about, composure, and Harry Allen not being able to keep possession of that little slit hand pass he received was a little bit of a blow there, at least at taking a ping of himself at the scoreboard. But now, another opportunity. Amato first to it, but the siren beats him. Jacob Collins was on his tail anyway, and the Tigers have been all over the Demons' tails in this opening term. 0 goals, 1 Uraidla to 5 goals, 2 Lobethal, 32-1. A 31-point deficit for the Demons to face going into quarter time. And Lobethal looking to face Hahndorf next week. But we're going to take a break now. Quarter time here at Heathfield.
Let me know when you're ready, I'll plug you back in.
That flows all right? Yep. Welcome back here, Heathfield Oval. Just about the start of the second term preliminary final. It's the Tigers out in the blocks with a pretty good lead, 6-2-38. Uraidla District's 1 behind on the closest Sportal scoreboard as umpire Bo gets us underway. So the Tigers working down the hill in this term. Pretty impressive up the hill the first term, as I said. So we'll see how it goes. There's Lamado already in the action for the Deems. Archie tries to bullock his way through. Equaling bullock, their work there by Riley. So Aidan Riley wins the free kick, gives it off to Bampton. Bampton sends the Tigers inside for the first inside 50 of this quarter. Bouncing ball there. Kluvenik trying to get it. Here's a chance now. Feeds out towards Oric. Overcooked it. Quick hands there. Here's little Jackie Bampton. Just missing with the opening attempt. So it extends their lead to 32 points. 5-3-1 behind. And just bring you update, the reserves preliminary final here resulted in a win to Mount Lofty. 2-point margin, 5-8 to Uraidla 5-6. So the Devils will play Hahndorf in the Magoo's grand final. And Ironbank have won the Country Division B grade flag as umpire Dawes has called an infringement. I think it's against Sewer from the kick out. Obviously not in a protected area, Indy. So Nathan Rudloff gets advanced to the centre square for this kick.
And he'll take that to advantage. goes to the far side. He knew what he wanted to do, but the kick was a little bit too overcooked for Tudor. Stays out on the far wing here. A whistle comes in. Uraidla will get to keep possession of the ball for now. Ferrari sends it long. Like the look at the pocket. No one comes down with a mark though. There's the crumb. I believe that's Amato going for the miracle dribble. Didn't make the line. In fact, the last line of defence, the goalkeeper for Lobe managed to save that one. It comes out of trouble momentarily, but now Uraidla win it back. Gretsch sends it in. A bit of a helicopter spinning type of ball there. And it wasn't a very effective one because it's landed back into the lap of James Elliott.
Elliott going across the Grigger return, puts it up here to Fuller. Was he grabbed? In that contest, Kluivnik comes, ball worked over the line. So a boundary throw in right in front of the barbecue area here at Heathfield. And yes, great save, last line defence there by Stafford. Key defender, but also kicked a goal in that first quarter onslaught as the Tigers kicked 6 unanswered goals. So Uraidla looking to bounce back here. High pitching from the academy boys, short. Landon's got his hands to it, down to Taylor, tries to bullock his way through. Here's a Riley, gets it out to Grigg. The past McGarry medalist puts it forward. Opportunity for Oric, but getting back is Luke Thomas. Thomas quickly across the ground will find Kluivnik. So possession football in defensive line here by the Demons. Puts it across here to the run of Rudliff. So 3 of their most experienced footballers combining there. Rudliff in turn nurses it up the wing. Finds a teammate there in Allen, the danger man. Caresses it forward looking for Ferrari. Nearly a good intercept by Stafford. Kicked away to the Demons. Here's Turlick on the lead, got his hands to it. Good enough to recover. Oh, he was scragged there without possession of the ball. So Dean Turlick, his first real possession of the game, coming in as their leading goal kicker 5-4 under an injury crowd. Goes further afield to Price, who has been managed to slip into open water, so to speak. So Todd Price will have the first shot of the quarter for Uraidla, the Longwood end goals, and an opportunity to raise their unbelievably such a high-scoring team, Indy, but 3.5 minutes in the second term, chance to raise their first goal of the game.
When an entire quarter without scoring, task forward for Price is quite simple and he can't convert. In fact, it barely made the journey. It was hammered over back into play. It only crossed over for a minus score just, and that makes it 2 minus scores to 39.63. Uraidla coming out, or sorry, Lobe coming out with a kick here. The intended target looked to be Carter, but he wasn't able to take the mark. Good defensive spoiling pressure. It's one piece of the puzzle that they've been missing in this game so far. They haven't really been able to stop the rapid entries from Lobe, but they are winning the territory in the early stages of this second quarter.
Absolutely. So, ball up from umpire Williams. Ball comes down here, lurking. Kick away by Slade. Getting back down, taking defence is Fuller. Matty Fuller spent the last 2 years as playing coach, just playing role, and certainly having a very good season. Puts it across, a good stretching mark taken by Bampton. Inside the centre square, he puts it out towards Carter. He's covering a bit of ground, the big forward. Doing the ruck work, kicking goals, and now taking a half-forward flank. He spots the run here of Grigg. Grigg will be under pressure here. Knew the challenge was coming, just protected the body and took a good mark. So the pass Crow, Nord player, puts it forward to the lead. And precision passing there. I think this is Oric. He is found. It is indeed Jake Oric. He's kicked 9 goals for the season, so he'll kick from straight in front here, Indy, towards the club room end, left of the screen. And he'd be some 45 metres out, straight in front.
Lobe already did a lot of damage running uphill in that first term. They're running downhill in this second quarter.
Ooh.
And that kick,
talk them up.
Just missing to the not near side. It wasn't really favouring one end or the other, but it faded, and Oric only manages a minus score. So the Demons with an opportunity to try and bounce back here. It's becoming desperate times. They'll take anything they can get, but can they convert everything they get? Matty Slade wants to continue that trend. He receives it back for the man he gave it to, which was Scott Taylor. Went further out to the wing. Ferrari is the intended target, but he's completely locked to turf by his opponent. It's going to be a ball up on the far wing. Uraidla struggling to get a score on the board.
As you see in the background, the scoreboard 6-4 to 2 behind. Clearing handball, here's a chance for Grigg. Woodliff comes to meet him, plenty of experience there, locked him up, held it up. Ball comes back here, taken high, might have been Spry, got it to Taylor, finally gets it to Luke Thomas or Humphreys. Got a bit of space to steady, picks out a target further field. This is Lachlan Schultz, the under-18 skipper, who certainly hasn't looked out of place in his A-grade debut season. So, the young man puts it forward. Here's a chance for another young man in Ferrari. Drifts in and takes an uncontested mark. So, better space movement there by the Demons as they search for their opening goal. Just 2 behinds on the board as we approach the 7-minute mark of this second term of the preliminary final. Of course, the winner going on to play Harndorf next week, and the loser heading to the mothball shop. So, opportunity for Ferrari. Missed a lot of football this season with shoulder injuries, but good to see him back in the lineup later stages of the season. So, Ferrari sets it on its way. Got the distance, but not the accuracy. Through for a minor score, which Uraidla probably don't need, as they move on to 3 behinds to the Tigers 6-4.
A lot of question marks starting to come over the Demons' chances of actually getting back into this game now. They've gotten 5 inside 50s in this quarter, but none of them resulted in a goal. Just the 2 minor scores. So Lobie, like to look at the far end. A little bit of sun just creeping through on that far end of the ground as well. Ball comes to turf. Players come to ball, and so does the umpire to ball it up.
So, umpire balls out of wing. Ruckman, good flip back here. Greg is having an influence this way, that way. Gets around on that favoured left, puts it high. Bouncing ball. Deflection there. Spry in all sorts of trouble. Got it back to Tudor. Until he got it to Kluven. It goes up the line. Finds Amato. Nicholas quickly puts it across here to Thomas. Thomas is clear. Puts towards the run of Turlick. Jay Turlick called the play on there and ends up with a dribbling kick there. So finally the coach with his 55th goal for the season. Indy gets them on the board as far as goals. They're 1-3 to 6-4 on the Closey Supermarket scoreboard.
Very important time to get impact like that on, and if anyone was going to set the tone, it has to be Turlick. So 55 goals for the year. He'd want to get into the 60s by the end of the day, and that would probably tell you that Uraidla are actually getting back into it, but you never know. It took them a long time to get that, and they're climbing uphill in this quarter. They were skiing downhill in the last and couldn't score a goal from that. It's desperate times.
So, Braidwood, Landers, Braidwood wins it for Tigers. His improvisation by Grigg would socket it forward. Running into a brick wall was Scobie. So right on the edge of the centre square, umpire Dawes balls it up. So young ruckman Gabba, here's a chance for Bampton working hard. Scobie getting involved again on top of Spry. Ball held in there as Lobethal pushing forward inch by inch, or centimetre by centimetre in these days. So Braver gets it down. Here's Archie. Oh, a bit of Great Eastern steeplechase work as he hurdled Landers and then was held up in a tackle himself by Maxwell. So once again the ruckman will Gabba. Leaper was Landers, comes down to Kepper, got it to Archie, gets a big kick towards the centre. Coming out is Clark, good spot by Mitchie Jenkin. Ball bouncing in favour of Amato, he's under pressure. Finds out Scobie, he's having trouble gathering, he's under pressure from Rodliff. Ball goes to ground right in the corner of the centre square. So the umpire coming in here. So good game of footy. The Raiders certainly competitive around the packs, but just can't get returned for their efforts at this stage as they trail 40-9. Comes out to Harry Allen, the X Factor. Has kicked 7 goals in the last 2 finals in the Hills Football League, including the match-winning goal in last week's thrilling first semi-final win over Mount Barker. So certainly they'll be looking for the X Factor to get into the game here. The Demons, so high pitch. Cooper Skinner doing the ruck work. Once again, improvisation by Grigg, socket it forward. It just stops in the cricket pitch area. Trying to one-handed pick up and leaving it behind was Fuller. You're able to take advantage, kick the ball forward. Here's Turlick territory, got his hands to it. Pressure on here, overrunning it was Amato. Desperate times comes to the young man and Schultz, goes to ground level. Good work by Mitch Jenkin. under the pack, holds the ball in. Good to see him back. Missed last week's second semi, but the key defender is back this afternoon.
Ball up in Uraidla territory. Can they golden the opportune? Started with a rough clearance from Clark. It continues to spill out here. The hands from Amato were good, and now Kepper doesn't quite snap it around effectively. The Lobie numbers are there. They had extra defenders. The kick wasn't good, but Greek can mop up the mess. And Lobie can try and go through the centre here if they want to. They might end up slowing up with Maxwell. Instead, the outer wing will be referred to, and he's happy with that. Carter goes further down, one-on-one. This is Carter. He was spoiled over by the defender in Klubenet. And it's a ball up. Halted once again, just on the brink of entering Lobie's forward 50.
So, ruck's going once again. Landers. Carter doing the ruck work, gets it down. Here's Archie trying to work it forward. Good work by Maxwell, put his body over the ball. Held up in a tackle coming from Roland Archie. So once again the big men will do battle. So ruck duel. Landers in front position. Over the top was Carter. Gets that towards Maxwell. Finally got a clear and kick forward taken by Rudliff, the vice captain. Whirls round on the right, puts it towards open territory here. And Paddy Kepper takes a very good mark running with the flight of the ball. He's got support here from Gresh. Nurses up the wing. Here's a chance for Schultz. Shinned off his ankle there. Just couldn't control it. So the boundary boy in, well not boy, but James O'Leary, 250 games of boundary umpiring Indy. So he's certainly a stalwart at the academy. Pitches the ball in, so Clark front position for Uraidla, gets down. Here's a chance for Mitch Jenkins, the reigning best and fairest. Oh, heavy clash against Kepper. Jenkins has gone down. Keep an eye on that as the ball comes back here to Bampton, gives it to Grigg, round the corner, kick. Here's Carter territory. Oh, traps it nicely. Whirls round this way. He's got Jack Bampton out wide, slips. Little man pumps the little legs. Can he get around Tudor? Yes, he does. Puts out in the direction of Scobie. Sliding in is Rudliff. Desperate defence here. Scobie holds it in. And danger averted there, but Mitch Jenkins still in the hands of the trainers, got up and just sucking in the air after that big collision with Kepper, who's actually coming off the ground himself.
Yeah, off he comes. In the meantime, back in the forward 50, Lobie, Grigg, under pressure, fantastic tackle. He's forced over the boundary line before any call could be made.
Mitch Jenkins just leaving the arena for just some running repairs, replaced by his brother Timmy, and also Pat Kepper after that big collision. He's gone off for a little bit of a rest as well.
Yep, so interchange is active for both teams right now. A high tackle called. That'll save Uraidla an extra breath as Ferrari likes the look of a teammate on the other side and hand passes to him. They clear it out. James Elliott has to stand his mark.
Price.
And Price is the one marking it. He's lacked a bit of forward impact in this match so far, Price, and he'll have to step up. He hasn't been as effective as his ceiling would suggest he can be. On the outer wing, players completely piling in over each other. The ball going nowhere. So credit to Uraidla, they haven't converted forward too much in this quarter, but they have plugged a couple of holes with corks at least to stop Lobie from running over them with a wave of goals. It comes out once again here. Kick around the body was from Klubenet. Goes into the forward 50 and slows up. A holding the man call. It's going to come out the other way. Lobethal a chance to respond.
Yep, Jackie Bampton milking that one nicely. Jack Andrews, so he'll go wide. I'll tell you what, he has picked. He must have colour blind. He's put it straight down the throat of the teenager in Schultz. Lachlan Schultz, as we said, under-18's captain, has played 9 games in the seniors this year and hasn't looked out of place. Talented young man, also played interleague under-18 rep game early this year. So Schultz, the opportunity here to make Jack Bampton pay. The little man's probably looking for a hole to crawl into. Just a bad turnover there, but anyway, finals football. Sometimes these things happen.
Well, I reckon Lobie 1 or 2 more goals would have put the game well and truly away, and usually when you're 7 goals down, that 9 times out of 10 spells that the game is over in a figurative sense. But that trend has started to change at the major league, as we've seen a lot of big comebacks at that level this year, so potentially Uraidla aren't quite down and out, but They have actually lost both of the centre clearances this quarter, so this will be number 3 coming up for one team or the other.
Okay, so Cooper Skinner for the Tigers against the Landers. This is rucked unchanged. Ball comes out. Taylor was clean bowled. Worthley at ground level with the flying reddish locks locked in. So they said they've stopped the bleeding a bit because in the first 15 minutes or so of the first term, Indy, Lobie had kicked 3 goals. They're yet to add a goal in this quarter, just the 2 behinds. So they've stopped the bleeding temporarily in that aspect, I suppose, the Demons, as the ball held in once again under Taylor. Umpire Bruce Dawes will come and ball it up. So 16.5 gone here, called a wild coverage. Hills Football League Preliminary Final Division 1, brought to you by Filming Footy. Comes out here to Slade, dispossessed in the tackle. Good to see Patrick Kepper back on the field after the effects of that collision. Mitchie Jenkins yet to come back on. So umpire Dawes balls it up again. Landers gets it down. His chance for Cooper Luke. Taylor, Luke, classy pickup. He was grabbed there, yes, said umpire Dawes. So you talked about spring being in the air, which means cricket. And of course, Cooper Luke, a member of Adelaide Uni's District A-grade premiership a couple of years ago, and also going to be part of the new Adelaide Premier League 100 ball competition coming up this summer. So Cooper Luke, quite the sportsman, as he sets up chance here. Not a proven goal kicker this year from the midfield, but if he kicked this one, it would certainly be vital.
He's been spending most of his game doing the tackling work. Gets a rare opportunity at a set shot in front of goal. That one on its way, won't make the journey. The pat goes up, and it's rushed over for a behind from Uraidla on Kluvenek's hands.
He was very keen to get that over the line, wasn't he?
Yeah, every chance to take a breath, they'll take it. 6 goals 5 to 2 goals 3. Still a long way off of taking the margin back and biting it down. Scott Taylor now from the defensive 50. Received the kick in. Looks towards the near wing, the muddy side of the ground. There's actually more mud on the wing than there is the cricket pitch, but a great mark by Jacob Ferrari. Keeps it in Uraidla possession.
For Closey Supermarket, quarter time, Country Division A grade grand final, Gummaraka 1-3, League Meadows 1-1. So 2-point margin, quarter time with the big dance in Country Division.
Meanwhile, an interception taken here by Lobie. Brazier kicks to a teammate. Happy to tick off time. Certainly wouldn't be happy to make another colourblind turnover. Lobie defence not under the pump necessarily, but not keeping themselves as clean as they could be. Luke in the defensive 50 kicks to an uncontested teammate in Matt Fuller, the vice captain. One of 3 vice captains out there on the field today for Lobethal.
So Fuller long on that left foot, goes forward. Collins got a defensive fit, picked up by Timmy the Tractor Jenkins. Mungles 1 forward. Here's Kluvenek. Can he trap it? Yes, he can. Finally, left foot snap back, nearly a barrier to barrel. Scobie thought he was going to make sport there. Ball comes out. Here's Riley trying to bustle the ball forward. Held up. So you just feel Lobethal, not with the dominance they had in that first term. Uraidla pressing here. Another couple of goals would make it interesting. As I said, Lobie yet to kick a goal in this term after 6 in the first quarter. So umpire Williams balls it up. Landers comes down, deflect off Taylor with a nice falcon there, I suggest. Ball trapped in the pack, just doesn't come out. And you can sort of probably see a little bit of the wear on the oval. As I said, 40 plus mil later in the week, but the ground's come up pretty well here in the Adelaide Hills. Trust you're enjoying our coverage on Call to Walter Filming Footy. Ball comes out, here's Jack Bampton. Little man goes to ground. Was he taken high? So not too hard to take Jack high, Indy, but on this occasion umpire Williams says I will ball it up. So just on the edge of the 50 metre arc, Lobie working down the hill here at Heathfield Oval. Landers gets it down. Riley dispossessed. Taylor is having a pretty good game. Flicks out the handball here. Kicked forward by Brazier. Bouncing ball. Waiting is the goalkeeper in Fuller. Got across the Stafford. Oh, missed the target. However, backing up is reliable Squid Giorgio. Gets a dribble along the wing. Here's a chance for Cooper Luke to use his pace. If it was it for him, he grabs it. Well tackled by Brazier. Play on, says the umpire. Oh, kicking in danger ruled there, so it'll be Tom Worthy with the free kick for Uraidla.
Tom Worthley needs a worthy kick to advance the territory here for Uraidla. He likes to look at the corridor, but they're completely outnumbered there. It's 1-on-4 in the corridor. You'd have to think that that wasn't very worthy of him. So now, endangered territory, Jack Bampton's got to apply a tackle. They're lucky that...
Yeah, bad decision making there, wasn't it?
Lobie just juggled between the quantity of players that they had in the centre square and
he
didn't
just
have
wanted
a
to test
proper
him
route
out,
to
1
get it
against
out.
4.
Yeah, a bit of a lucky break there for the Demons because that kick from Worthley was very dangerous. Instead, the ball resides here in the centre square for the time being and another stoppage.
So Ruckman gave it high level, was Braidwood, got down to Bampton, got a high kick away under pressure, bouncing ball. Here's a chance here for Rudliff under pressure from Ulrich. Wraps him up, the young Tiger, good pressure there. It looks like a little bit of push and shove over the boundary line. As you'd expect a winner-takes-all preliminary final. Pieces restored, so ball comes back in. Once again, the Ruckman. Landers gets it down. Bampton at ground level. Is Worthley again diving in over the top. Under the bottom of the pack of Riley. So once again, the umpire will come and ball on. So just repeating quarter time. Country Division A grade grand final. 1-3 Gumaraka leading Meadows 1-1. Seems like a good early contest down there in the battle for the 2022 Premiership. Meanwhile, these two sides battling it out to play off for the 2022 Division 1 flag next week, of course against Harndorf. That'll be from Nan Oval, and Call Wild will bring you all the days happening, so might have to do the breakfast shift next week, Indy. The first game at about 8:30 in the morning, but we'll see how we go. So, ball comes down, trying to best his way through was Taylor. He's had a very good final series, Scooter Taylor. Oh, had control of the ball a long time, but umpire Williams says ball.
23-minute mark here at Heathfield. Lobie maintain a comfortable lead, although Uraidla have managed to hit back with 2 goals in this quarter to none for the Tigers. Surprisingly, the game has grinded to a bit more of a halt. Not bad conditions, a bit more overcast here at the Oval right now. The sun is mostly dissipated as continuous stoppages continue to pile on in the centre square, looking for someone to inch it out and find a route to freedom. Uraidla might be the first ones to do that. Well, they kicked it out, but it's been intercepted by an opposition defender.
Yep, Cooper Skinner with the ball, goes towards the outer side wing, scoreboard side, big lead there, at the top was Collins, over the back is Thomas, gets rid of Luke cleverly, gets it back to Amado. He hasn't been as dominant as he was in that first term, still handy though, gets it up here, here's Cooper Spry battling a couple of Tigers. Ball held in close to the boundary line, umpire Williams will come in and board up, so 24 minutes ticked over. Uraidla kicking a couple of goals in the first half of this term, but since then it's really been a scrappy hold-in game of football at the moment, which would play in the Tigers as they have the lead at the moment. Ball up the line, here's a chance to mark taken by Ulrich. So Jake Ulrich, what's on the scene, he decides to go long, chopped off there by Matt Slade, Demons vice-captain.
So Slade to reset it. Well, he won't have any time to reset it, and both teams will want a fresh start to the second half. The game grinded to a bit more of a halt going into the main break. 6 goals 5:41 to 2 goals 3:15. Uraidla not out of it, but uncomfortably trailing by 26 points at the main break. We're going to go to a break of our own right now, but before that we will thank our sponsors for the day, in closest supermarkets, as well as our scoreboard sponsor, Sportle, who've made today's score updates possible. We're going to go into the break now.
Good stuff. No, we went there. When Gamarika won. We had no connection. It's not, that's not.
No. That's what actually.
Sorry, 2-3. Just the rhythm, we got fast, we got
Jeffrey. How you going, mate? How's the other game going?
You're going 3-5 and 2-3.
watch it on Facebook.
Yeah, okay. Hey? I was thinking they go out there. 18, 16, 14, and 16 games both picked it up. I think if someone told me to get it, if they've got if 14 and 16
Robbie Senior Cox.
No, I was actually. I'm with Desi Cool. Yeah. I reckon nearly everything
Hold on. Oh, is it? Just tell them this bloke only broke the jaw at 49. You don't remember it, but I do.
So they reckon
On the red mate.
We had a pour.
we had a quarter
Yeah.
but all money.
What's the stuff you see?
Bloody nice. Yeah. Jesus shit over there. What is this place? There's no
You can't. Through it through. I didn't blackmail him. You worked that out too. He did go to a bit of a strange school.
Last Sunday, Keith.
Very good, very satisfying. Right. Well, celebrating tonight. Yeah, very missed the man. Didn't hurt us a lot, huh? A couple of those goals are kicked down there like heading back through.
Oh, yeah, young kid in the big one.
Yeah, roll
Yeah, the
long.
young kid.
Yeah, but it's just
Just kept going, didn't it?
Yeah, what's this bloke's son?
his mum must have been a bit quick.
He's left footed.
Milkman.
Yeah.
What's the story, mate? Surely get it done.
I don't.
He's died. I see one here too. Georgie reckons
Just like Timmy Cooper, I said.
last week. Yeah, yeah, it was too. And what was his brother doing last week? Yeah. They dropped, or did they, because he got shooting shows, so they dropped his he looked really
Lobey was sharp early to see Lobey fade on big transfers. Nick Evans. Rudy played. Rudy.
No, I'm not. No, that's not too bad there. That's not too bad there, Jeffrey.
Chapman's come over again. Make sure you're voting.
When? Okay, yeah, let me know then.
Yeah.
Chapman bloody, he owes me a
Buzzer.
couple of drinks too.
I haven't seen Bazza since I left school.
Good luck, Jeffrey. Are you calling this? Is this going through the live? See you, Jeffrey.
Nice to see you.
You too, mate. Take care. Hey, Jeffrey. Bloody Woods were stiff last week. Jeez, impressive, like. If Paul went the athlete, I love Paul, always do. Yeah, just don't like Eddie, he's a dickhead. See you, mate.
Nice one, Cossie.
Oh, he's a dickhead.
When you're ready, boss.
Yeah, I'll plug these back in a second.
Welcome back Live, the Court of the Wild Division 1 preliminary final coverage coming to you from Arkabar Oval in Heathfield. Jeff Bastola with you, and our special guest, Indy, the 500-man Rogers, is joining us for today's game. And, half-time sees Lobethal 6-5, 41, leading Uraidla Districts 2-3, 15. And we just bring you up to date with the Country Division Grand Final half-time there, Indy. Gummaraka 5-5 are leading Meadows 2-3. So just your thoughts on this game here so far. As we said, Lobethal got out in the block 6-2 to 1 behind at quarter time, but then the Demons pulling it back a little bit with 2 unanswered goals. Lobie just holding to 3 points in that second term.
Yeah, I thought the Uradela's ability to slow down the game in that second term was crucial to at least keeping them in striking distance. They are uncomfortably behind by 26 points. That's not an ideal point to be at, but if Uraidla are to bite their way back, another quarter similar to the second probably wouldn't hurt too much. They didn't allow the Tigers to kick a goal in that second term, but really all the damage was done in that first quarter. Lobethal were running uphill, but they just had such confidence, and I reckon a slightly slower and grindy second quarter could still be compensated for another one similar to the first by Lobie. It's hard to tell exactly where this game would go, but most signs are pointing to Lobie holding on to this result. And slowing down the game isn't necessarily the equivalent of biting back into it. So Uraidla took the right steps to progress through it in that last quarter, but going into this second half, they might need to be a little bit more effective with their forward conversions. They had 8 inside 50s to 6 in that second term, and only got, 2 goals to nothing in complete fairness, but probably a couple more would have helped a lot more.
Yeah, we'll just go through those goal kickers in the first half. And they're all individuals for Lobie: Mitch Gregg, Jack Bampton, Carter, Stafford, Braidwood and Peter Bampton. And in the second term, when Uraidla got on the scoreboard as far as goals, it was through Turlick and Schultz. So, as we said, 26-point margin in favour of the Tigers at half time. We'll see if they can turn it around as we're underway second half here, preliminary final. So, Braidwood, Landers, ball comes down. Amato once again in the action early seconds of this third term. Ball held to him, so umpire Dawes will come in and bowl up. So once again, Landers wins it down over Braidwood. Here's Riley trying to bustle his way through. Taken heavily there by Amato, who got the resultant ball. Gets onto a barrier to barrel as it goes forward. Dropped by the Sheriff. Good enough to go back. Price wrapped up in a good tackle there by Elliott and Jenkin. So you'd expect the Demons to come out with fire in the belly here, Indy, just to try and manufacture something as they trail by 26 points.
Early tackle pressure coming in there from Mitch Jenkin. But it's an illegal tackle by the looks of things.
This could be the start they need, Indy, inside the first minute, having a shot at goal. Where in the first quarter, corresponding kicking down that end, they kicked one behind, I think, late in the first term.
So Jacob Ferrari, if you were excluding Nick Amato from the mix, you'd probably say he's been Uraidla's best player today. But he's had a couple shots at goal that have gone wayward. This one needs to strike true. Kicks from just within the arc, lets it sail, and he likes the look of it.
A double cobra.
Beautiful drop punt goal there from Jacob Ferrari.
As I said, spent some time. Sturt Juniors, only his 7th game for the season, had shoulder problems, as you can probably see by the strapping, but a fine young developing player for the Uraidla Football Club and giving them a very good start that they needed. So they pulled the margin back marginally, 4-3 to 6-5 on the Sportel scoreboard. So back in the centre, they'll be looking for back-to-back goals. Landers, Braidwood gets down to Grigg. Here could be the Tigers' replies. They put it forward and find Cooper Skinner. So Cooper Skinner had a shot early in the game and missed it, so might be beyond his distance as he looks for Jack Bampton. Almost a slips, catch a little Jack, take it high there. As I said, that's not hard to do. Yes. So Jackie Bampton infringed there by Kemp. A bit unlucky there.
It's more difficult to tackle Bampton properly than it is to illegally tackling.
You wait for him to stand up, Indy. So he'll nurse the ball forward to the lead here of Carter. Oh, almost grabbed it. In fact, it was Cooper Skinner, my apologies. Almost sensational mark there. Cooper just couldn't complete it. But in the meantime, it's Sewer.
Giving Uraidla an extra goal on the scoreboard. It's actually 3 goals.
That's right, that was 2-3, so maybe they're getting some advice, help from other areas. So, chance here for Josh Sewer, the zip-zap. See what he can do here. Head in close to the pocket. Go on, Pies, move to... No, Alan Christian's raised the 2 fingers. A sensational finish there by Josh Sewer. Missed a bit of footy also, but only come into the finals calculations last week, got the recall, played pretty well, retained, and he's kicked a pretty good goal there to counter.
Yeah, hopefully someone gives the tap on the shoulders to whoever's managing the scoreboard to just deduct 6 points from Uraidla, because the score actually reads 7 goals 547 to 3 goals 321. There we go. The correction's been made, as you can see.
They must be listening to the call of the wild, just following you, Indy.
Meanwhile, ball up in the one of 2 centre circles that you can actually see in the centre square there. They've clearly favoured the one with less dirt. Amato, they'll get a free centre clearance from this. They've won most of the centre clearances today. It hasn't determined the shape of the game too much, but Amato can have impact. Lobethal producing some good play here from the defence and find a man to safely take it into the hands of himself. Lobie coming out to the far wing now. Kick was a little bit overcooked for Skinner, and it slips over the boundary line just in front of the scoreboard over at the far end, which reads 7-5-3-3.
So, ball up, scored by the 500 man Indy Rogers. Great to have him on board to his Hills football roots this afternoon. So Landers gets it down, taken here. Fuller drags it back up the line, taken here by Cooper Spry. He's set upon, but illegally grabbed was the call. As it was Kepper, the lookalike, my apologies, puts out in front here of Uraidla. He's under pressure there from Bampton. Toe pokes it forward. Here's a chance for Oric. Well, it's it for him. Oh, the look-away handball, and actually Collins didn't really want that. So perhaps lucky to get out of that, because the ball was held in there. So always make sure your teammates are aware of what's happening, Indy. So right in front of the commentary broadcasting spot here at Argabar over on the balcony, ball tossed up. Infringement in ruck will come back to Landers. Rep ruckman this year for the Hills Football League and one of the great young rucking prospects in the Hills. Puts it forward. Big Clark's the target. The big man got his hands to it. Fisted forward. Grabbed here by Oki to Jockey Walters. Tries the outside of the boot. Puts it forward. Giorgio and Turlick wrestling. Past Nord teammates and good mates actually. Spent some time together at Melbourne. They'd no doubt be discussing old times when the ball's up the other end. So, throw in. Cricket net pocket here. Demons pushing for another goal. Comes to Archie. Tackled. Tries to spin clear, but he's going nowhere under siege from a couple of Tiger defenders. So, once again, umpire Williams will come in and ball up.
Right forward pocket here for Uraidla. Amato juggling it, snapping it, and just missing to the far side in an attempt to goal it. Uraidla got the first one of the quarter. Lobethal responded with one back. Scoreboard reads 7-5-3-4. A 25-point deficit, and still another 5 goals from taking back the margin for the first time in this game.
So Giorgio with the kick in, puts it up. Here's Ferrari getting on his hands. So here's Price. Oh, he's crunched heavily there by Riley. Going to ground was the Sheriff and Elliott under pressure from Ferrari. So the game just tightening up now, Indy, as you can expect. As we said, no tomorrow for the loser. Winner goes to the big dance. Both these sides having played in the big game in recent years. It was 2020 Lobethal, and last year Uraidla both, of course, against the Harndorf Magpies. So the leaper out the back from Landers, got it to Spry around the corner. High kick, diving in and taking a timely mark at knee level is Stafford. So the Lens would recruit puts it out across, nice, finds Bampton, who's found space on the outer wing. He in turns goes towards the centre, cutting it off nicely is Thomas. He's had a good defensive series for the Demons, one of their key men. So, Ricky Thomas, high pitched wedge shot. Here's Stafford again, also Skinner probably could have marked him. He put 2 dukes up, crashing through his Mitch Grigg. Under pressure there from Turlick, so umpire Williams will come and ball it up. And we're just 8 minutes gone in the third term here. Lobethal Tigers 7-5. Uraidla Districts 3-4 on the Sportal scoreboard.
Lobethal just struggling to put this game away. Isn't as easy of a task as you would have thought it was based on the tone set in that first quarter. Kick around the body came from Archie, but looks as though the mark has been taken in the defence instead by Matt Fuller, one of 3 vice-captains out there for the Tigers. So from defensive territory, Lobethal looking to respond with another score and return to a comfortable proximity. James Braidwood.
So Big Jimmy, what's on offer? Fuller has run on. Handballs up the line to McWaters. Haven't seen a lot of him. He ran into a bit of trouble. Ball comes back into Fuller. Another handball. So there's sort of, trying to boost each other's stats here in a short period of ground. Acreage and really not getting anywhere. So a bit scrappy football. So up they go. So Braidwood arrives. Gets a tap down. Scrambling play once again. Ooh, arm wrestle. It's interesting, Indy in their 2 final series played so far, they faded against Mount Barker in the qualifying final, got over the line by 10 points. Last week against Hardorf, they came home with a wet sail in the second half and lost by 5 points. So good and bad for the Tigers if they can't play that consistent 4 quarters. And as you said, the Demons are pushing at the moment.
They might have started thinking a bit too prematurely about next week when the game here at Heathfield hasn't actually properly been put away yet. So
Gresh.
Now, Gresh finding a spare man in the form of Rudliff, who continues along the far wing, an awkward wobbling ball, but it's favoured goal side here for the Demons. Now Ferrari can pick it up. No, he can't. The task was relatively simple, but he made a blunder of it.
It's all about thinking about things in the future. I think he was thinking about getting it and storming in towards goal, or give it to Archie, and completely overran it, unfortunately.
Eyes on the prey, not the horizon. That's the motto that Uraidla might want to hear out. In fact, both teams might want to hear out now, because all of a sudden the intensity of this game has cranked up. Spills into the forward 50. Barely a kick going into it. Lobie now on Collins, trying to get it out. Finds a teammate, looks inward, it's Grigg. He's got space to save it up despite not taking the mark. He doesn't panic, but his teammate might. In fact, Price was right on him. Tackling pressure not rewarded with the free kick. Now trying to bring ball to turf there was Luke Thomas. It continues to spill out. Price barely got boot to ball. In fact, no boot to ball. The umpire has penalised it. It'll come back Lobie's way.
Yep, the Sheriff laying down the law there. So Elliott, one of the best defenders in the league, wedged it's out here to a fellow defender in Skinner, Riley variety. He in turn nurses up the line to Brother Cooper. Can he trap it? Yes, Cooper's going to try some candy. And in the end, it wasn't very sweet as it went over the boundary line on the full. So resultant free kick will go to Brazier. So Brazier nurses it inboard to Thomas, just marking his turf where the mark is. So Scobie arrives. So Lukey Thomas got a loose man in the centre in the form of Cooper Spry, right in the centre circle almost. So nurses across, so possession football finds Kluvernick. So News goes long towards the forward line, a good sport by Braidwood. Ball eludes a few players, taken by Taylor, high wedge kick forward. Fly there by Landers. And this kid never fails to impress me every time we see him. And a good strong mark by Jesse Landers. Has kicked 7 goals for the season, Indy, and certainly it suggests that this would be a vital 8th one in the context of this game for the Demons.
Could keep them well and truly alive. Difficult to come back from 5 goals down at any stage of the game, but stranger things have happened in football. Landers steps in, helicopter drop punt, kick it whatever style you like, just kick it, and he has. Back down to 19 points. All of a sudden, what seemed like an easy afternoon for Lobie has turned into one which is getting a little bit less comfortable by the minute.
Well, how does that follow Hills football guy? You can never downgrade the fighting spirit of the Uraidla Football Club. They've had it for years, just never say dies. It showed last week in the dying minutes of the game when Mount Bar get the lead in the first semi-final, but Uraidla just somehow willed themselves forward. And you get the feel that's happened here. Momentum is building. 4-4 plays 7-5, so back in the centre. Clark having a turn in right for the big man. Won the tap for Uraidla, goes to the cricket pitch area. Down is Grigg. Looks like he might have got one in the noggin. So one of the key performers, he's up on his feet, which is good for the Tigers. So back they go. Clark against Skinner. Clark, the experienced demon, gets it over the top. Lurking is Fuller. Ball spilled out there. Following up there. As Collins so holds the ball in there. So once again, the experience of Clark against Cooper Skinner. Clark double fists it back over. Archie Rice bashing his way through there. Was McWaters. Interesting note, we haven't seen Mitchell Jenkins since that incident in the second term. Indy, so they're currently playing about probably their best defender, and of course the current reigning best and fairest at the Lobethal club, so hopefully Mitch is alright. Missed last week of injury, and unfortunately his comeback game he's suffered an injury. Oh sorry, he's deep in defence, my apologies. Just down in the full back area, so good to see him out there.
Approaching the 14-minute mark now, the third quarter. Clark gets the tap out. Ball meets turf right on the 50-metre arc line. It's becoming a difficult stage of the game where all of a sudden the absence of Mitch Jenkins is being felt a little bit, and they're going to need as much star power as they can get. Grigg taking one to the head earlier doesn't help, and Archie is taken to turf in this instance again as well. The ball barely inching forward, but with each progressive stoppage it tends to get just a little bit closer to that forward 50 line for Uraidla.
Yeah.
Tackle applied there by Cooper Spry and unable to get it out.
There probably is a need for Jenkins, the centre half back there, as I said, he's out there, but he's deep in defence. It's coming down his way now, he'll be the first to meet it. That's good. I saw a bit of candy, so it's good to see, get a bit of a floating mung up forward, but he usually plays in the outer defensive line, and the Uraidla have been able to penetrate that in the last quarter and a bit, so but good work there by Mitchie. Here's the run, gets it to Cooper Luke, arches the back, then lifts the eyes and puts it forward to Sewer. Sewer kicked that wonderful angle goal the previous quarter. Here's a chance, here's Joe the Goose over the top, Jackie Bampton. So Jack Bampton probably making up that first blunder.
Well, I reckon it started with the Candyman at the other end. That was a fantastic ability to weave the ball through traffic, kick it directly to a teammate who was already placed in the corridor, and from there they spread the ground. They had the outside runners to go on the outer wing, and it resulted in a coast-to-coast play. Very good team play goal there, finished off by Jack Bampton, and all of a sudden a lot of the hard work that was done by the Demons has been short-circuited once again to only lead back to a 25-point margin. As we come back to the centre here, you contemplate what Uraidla will try next. It was continuous stoppages that eventually resulted in a poor entry down the other end. Archie wanted to get a clearance, but it was smothered. So now all of a sudden it's going to come out the other way, although the hands over the top weren't as effective as they initially thought they should have. But maybe coming through traffic here, Collins as a whistle to advantage. He will play on to advantage and he'll miss a golden opportunity. That could have been one to just put the game to bed.
Absolutely. Thinking we should have gone back as Scobie winning the free kick. As you said, Collins, he's kicked 16 goals for the year, Indy, so you'd back him in, but he sprayed that one. But nevertheless, they marginally increased their lead now. 86 plays 4-4. 86, sorry, it's 4-4. Here's a chance for McWaters. He's got a loose man out here, and you don't want this man loose in Mitch Carter. Kicked a goal in the first term, has 63 for the season. Got a thumping boot on him, Indy, so he suggests as he kicks here from just inside the 50 arc that he will give this a shake towards the Longwood Road end. No, he tried to pass off the Fuller. Praise him up, they let you down. Commentators curse there, my good man. So the ball comes out here to Timmy Jenkins, the tractor. He came in the game with a bit of doubt after last week as he hobbled off after the second semi, but good to see him up there. So Timmy Jenkins, experienced defender, goes long and high. The pack flight, that is a great mark taken by Sewer. Josh Sewer just leapt back at the bus, claimed a very good mark.
Fantastic by Sewer. On the left foot, that's a very awkward spinning ball. A little bit torpedo-esque, but didn't really get the spin that you'd expect from a torpedo. But it doesn't matter. Uraidla coming out of the defence here, panicked and turned it over. Greg now has a shot at goal.
Now we talk about likes of booming. I talked up Carter, but this guy does have a booming left foot on him. Kicked the first goal of the game. So it suggests that he'll have a real crack at this one. Indy, so lays back on it. Has it got the carry? No, just falls short, fisted over the line.
Just a little bit less lean on that kick and it would have made the roost and been through for the ceiling goal. But with each successive miss for Lobe, they're keeping Uraidla in this game. And not comfortably in this game, but 27 points, anything can happen and you can't write off the Demons. Of course, it's worth noting, as Price has the ball in possession right now, they lost the B-grade preliminary final to Lobethal, 38 points to 36 earlier in the afternoon. So it's been a little bit of an inglorious time, or an inglorious day for Uraidla. They want to change that.
It's actually Mount Lofty. So back in the ruck duel, ball comes down. Here's Greg trying to spin his way out, taken hard there by Amato. As we said, Lobe amazingly looking for their first win in a final against Uraidla since winning the 2002 Premiership. So 20 years they have not won a final against Uraidla. Of course, they haven't played every year, but they've had Turlet going in hard on his former teammate and close buddy in Giorgio. Nil-all draw. So, umpire Door. Over the top was Clark, trying to gather the ball there. Bampton held in on him. So once again, umpire Doors. So 19 and a half minutes gone here, Indy. So they've absorbed a bit of pressure here, the Tigers. As Greg, under pressure from Spy, comes out to Clark, hacks the ball forward. His young man Schultz couldn't quite hold it. So they're getting opportunities for Uraidla, but as you said, sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. But a good contest here at this stage of the match.
Admirable effort there at the mark, just ultimately a bit futile. Lobe managed to get out of trouble for the moment, referred to the near wing to take a breather. Very quick tackle applied there by Josh Sewer.
He bulldogged him, Maribel Rodeo style, Indy Rudliff, but
didn't give away a free kick, and he's coming to the bench now. Probably a reward for how good that tackle truly was.
Here's
Riley.
Straight off the bench and into action, puts it forward to Carter, so the playing coach straight off the bench being influential.
Looking forward here, Mitch Carter just peeping it over to a teammate, and looking at Cooper Luke, who's now taking a longer shot but instead decides to set it up for a teammate. Now Jacob Collins wants to blaze it, goal, could have been wasted but it was converted.
That's a better shot, that one.
Long goal, long overdue wait for a goal, finally met for Lobe. Takes the margin back up to 33 points, and all of a sudden it's a 6-goal game here once again at Mount Lofty.
Yep, 9-7-61 plays at 4-4-28 on the Sportel scoreboard. Adelaide Company doing wondrous things on the worldwide stage of scoreboard technology, and also thank you very much to Closey's Supermarkets for their support of the Hills Football Finals Series here on the Cord Live through filming footy. So, as the sun comes out, things are looking a little bit brighter for the Tigers. They've had the advantage most of the day, but just stretching a little bit now as they were threatened by the Demons. So, pushed forward by the Tigers. Here's Riley. Oh, great work by the coach, looking to feed a handball out. Does it himself as he threads back. Eventually gets it back here to Peter Benton. Quick hands out to the last goal kicker in Collins. Nurses it nicely up the line, but bit astray as he's picked out Michael Tudor. So Michael Tudor, back pocket area, decides to go across goals. It's got Gresh out here, so the iron fist goes up the line. He'll be looking for Cooper Spry. He's surrounded by a few Tigers. If it sits for him, it does. Gets a kick away under pressure. Getting back there and taking the mark is Carter.
Carter saves it up, kicks into the corridor, but uncharacteristically it's a safe kick into the corridor in the context of this game. Cooper Luke refers out. We're on the near wing now, and it's in the hands of Giorgio, as we should pronounce it. Goes a little further. Easy chip kick there. Cooper Skinner. Tick off more time of the clock as we are at the 22.5-minute mark now. Keeping track of the time. Going into the forward 50. Looking at the pack. No one coming out with the mark. Taking a ping at the miracle shot and just overcooking the snap a little bit there was
Jack Maxwell.
Jack Maxwell.
I tell you, if he pulled that one off, Indy, that would, you know, your day's going well. It's a minor score, but still good enough to extend margin of the lead. 9-8 to 4 for the Tigers. So 62 plays 28 as we're heading towards three-quarter time. And the final huddle for one of these teams. Spills off the chest of the young man of Schultz. Good enough to back it up. Here's Greg under pressure. Call on, says umpire Williams. Comes out to Timmy Jenkin. Schultz again, second, third effort. So the young man certainly showing his, what you like to see from a footballer. He mucked it up, but then persisted, trying to rectify things. Comes back out into Worthley. He's bundled off the ball. Tight tackling in there. So they expect a quarter where we've had 3 goals to Lobie, 1 to Uraidla, so 24 minutes gone, so probably a couple of minutes left in this term before three-quarter time, Indy.
Not much time left in this quarter, you'd assume. 2 goals to Uraidla, 3 goals to Lobie is what it would read, which would normally read a competitive game had it not been for that monumental first quarter from the Tigers that really set the tone for the rest of the match. And while they haven't put it away, they haven't made it easy for their opposition. Here's Riley, who's taken a mark from the kick under pressure, goes out to a vacant end at the centre square, and Giorgio just managed to run onto that mark in time. Read it well.
Like he's got long fingernails, just I think picked that one. Here's Elliott. Elliott's got Riley, Skinner out loose, but the kick's astray. As we've seen, as I said, the corridor turnovers has been unreal this game, so Price sends it back in. Clark, the big man, just holds front position in front of Mitch Jenkin. No way of getting around him, so Clark, the opportunity is kick 13 for the season, chance for his first for the game, 5th for the Demons, and just a chance to just pull one back in the shadows of three-quarter time. So Clark, you kick from directly in front, he'd be about 35 metres out, so you'd expect him to split the centre here.
To breathe life into the corpse, as we stated earlier. Somehow it's managed to stay on life support. Clark makes sure of that. It's a 28-point game.
So, as Cindy Rogers said, where there's life, there's hope. Certainly always life in Uraidla. Not beaten to the final side, I've got this knack, and certainly the Tigers 9-8 to 5-4, but they'll still be sensing this game has not been put to bed yet, that's for sure. So, back in the centre, umpire Scott Bowe, recommencing, so Braidwood up against Landers, as they have done for most of the afternoon. Riley at ground level gave it back to Braidwood. High kick, but another good intercept mark taken by Luke Thomas, who's had a very good final series, trying to milk a 50 there against Sewer, but umpire having none of that. So Thomas, what's on offer for him? We'll go short to lead it Spry. This could be danger in the corridor, could be another turnover. Here's Scrappy, gets a handball out to Maxwell, gives it back to Mitch Grigg, under pressure, Spry follows up. So just the amount of turnovers we've seen in the corridor today. It's, coach killers, as they say, Indy.
Yeah, well, on one hand, you have to take the corridor to get those ambitious routes to goal when the game is on the line, but at the same time, it is a risky place to be taking it, and Lobie have set up well there most of the day. Mind you, they've made some turnovers in the actual corridor themselves. And that sounds the three-quarter time siren. Lobie settled the nerves just a little bit and retained a decently comfortable lead. Uraidla not gone and out of it, but hanging by the slimmest of threads. 9 goals, 8, 62 to 5 goals for 34. Thank you very much to Closest Supermarkets and our scoreboard sponsor for the day, Sportal, for allowing us to keep track of the score and the many scoreboards across the nation throughout the game. We're going to go into the break now for three-quarter time. Fourth quarter action at the prelim final coming up after this.
Welcome back to Heathfield Oval, Arkabar Oval in Heathfield. Three-quarter time of the Division 1 Hills Football League preliminary final. It's Lobethal with a 28-point margin, 9-8. Uraidla 5-4. And approaching three-quarter time in the Country Division A grade grand final, Gummaraka 6-7 are leading Meadows 4-4 at Macclesfield Oval. So here we are. Last quarter for one of these teams. At the moment, as we said, the Tigers with their noses in front and looking as if they might have the tickets to advance next week to take on Harndorf in the Division 1 A grade grand final. So umpire Reese Williams holds the ball off, so underway. That's the last quarter of football for one of these teams. So Braver gets it down for Lobethal. Here's Amato, perhaps taken high there. No, said umpire Williams. He'll come in and recommence play. So just out of the centre circle. So Landis gets it down again. Out the back door is Taylor. He's swung around rag dog style. Once again the ball held to him. So we'll have a ball up. So umpire Williams earning his money in the opening 30 seconds. 3 ball ups already. So here we go. Landis gets it down. Walters follows up. Dispossesses O'Reilly. Amato perhaps takes him high. Yes is the call. So the boy from Millawarra, hello to the Riley family, no doubt watching on filming footy. So your boy could be heading for another grand final. So Aidan Riley, wedge kick forward. Carter's the target, he numbers out, got his hands to it. Here's a chance for Skinner. Gives it miraculous around the corner to Greg. Bouncing effort, just eludes the goal square through for a minor score. So the opening score of the final term inside the first minute is a behind to Lobethal, so they move on to 9-9 to 5-4. resultant kick out finds Brazier. So the Demons, he'll goes it forward to Walters. Good ball from behind by Skinner, puts the ball out over the boundary line. Good crowd in the house, and enjoying. Well, the sun's dropped a little bit behind the clouds, but been pretty good conditions for the Adelaide Hills in early September here, Indy Rogers.
Yeah, certainly. I think the prelim final is starting to come to its twilight stages, of course, as we creep later into the afternoon. Uraidla clearing it out, only for a moment though. It's sent back into the forward line by Giorgio for the Tigers. The ball stopped in its tracks, it barely even bounced. That tells you a lot about the turf at this oval. It can get a little bit thick at times.
It's not too bad, a little bit patchy, but it must have found one of those patches, as you said. Someone's put the super glue on it, just stuck there. So, Carter doing the ruck work, comes out, here's Greg lurking, Spry's tagger, wraps him up, feeds the ball out the back, clearing kick away there. I think it was Taylor. Here's a chance for Elliott, the Sheriff. One grab, two grabs, got support from Collins, who has a little bit of a fumble. Looks for the way out, finds the opponent in Price, a quick kick. Here's a chance for Mitchie Jenkins. Ball eludes him, but I think he will well take the resultant free kick for last touch.
Last touch rule favours the Tigers in this instance. They take the ball back. They have a couple of vacant men behind the line, which they do decide to use. Play it safe and give it to Riley Skinner. He chips to one further and finds Tim Jenkins. He's got another vacant man on the wing who he's going to hand pass to. It's Matt Fuller. Is he going to go the 1-2? No, he's going to kick back. Referred to a teammate. Back to Riley Skinner. They're just juggling with teammates in the defensive half right now. James Elliott passes off and now going further. Jenkins into the forward line. Ball spills out. Goal side taking the snap at it. Oric just a little wayward. They played it safe there. They ticked off a lot of the clock by chipping off to teammates. And then eventually had an ambitious ping at goal. It nearly paid off.
Just interestingly, Indy, that passage of play out here with Turlick stalking the Lobethal opponent. Normally Dean Turlick would be that fierce approach as we was renowned for, but obviously in this game under a cloud of injury and certainly showing they're certainly not fit. Mark taken there by Price, gives it to Taylor, who's had a pretty good game, puts it up. Here's a chance for Mitch Jenkins, socket forward by Clark. It's the advantage of Alex Giorgio. The squid, the captain, lifts the eyes, puts it out into James Elliott, the Sheriff. So the Sheriff just slowing things down, laying down the law. So his team in the box seat, they lead by 30 points early in the final term here, preliminary final. There's a good grab to Landers. The ruckman trying to get on that left. In the end, he's forced for a high kick. Braidwood appeared to be pushed out. No, said the umpire. Going to ground is Giorgio. Spilling out to Walters. High kick forward. Jenkins coming to meet against Klubenik. It looks like he's been moved up forward. Has been paid a free kick. So the swingman and Tommy Klubenik. Let's see if he can manufacture something for the Demons to get them back in this game. I said 30-point margin, 4.5 minutes gone last term.
Fantastic kick, very well sided from Klubenik.
Now here he is, Indy, the X Factor. Harry Allen's kicked 7 goals in the final series so far. Has not scored a goal. In fact, probably count his touches on a hand at the moment.
So 33 goals for the year, 7 in finals. Time demanded that he kick that one straight, but he hasn't. I mean, technically it would be a crucial point if it was at a closer stage of the game, but it's not. So it takes it back down to 29 points, which means 5 goals to take the lead.
Well, if they kick 5 successive goals, it is a vital point.
Well, slim chance.
So, Fuller brings it back in for the Tigers. High kick. Cooper Skinner was leader Schultz there, taken by Peter Bampton. Manages to get the ball at the back door to Elliott. Goes to ground under pressure from Allen and Walters. Walters still with a hold of him. Held in there, and umpire Scott Lowe will come in. And the ball up. A little bit of a tacky, soft section of the oval there, but generally Oval's held up well all the weather. So Leaper on his own was Braidwood. Gets down to Riley. Feigned a handball, then breaks away. The playing coach goes forward. Good defensive ball by Gress. Assisted Thomas, the runner, puts it forward towards Archie. He's worked under the ball by Jenkins illegally, so Roland Archie to take the free kick wing area here for the Demons.
It's got to come out now, Archie. Wastes no time. It's a high ball, though. That gives plenty of time for the defenders to read it. Tell you what, it doesn't matter because the contested mark out-triumphed all of the defensive options that lingered for Lobethal. Instead, it comes into the hands of a Uraidla target out on the far side, Kluvenek.
As you said, he's a swing man, Indy. You can move him key defender. They've moved him forward as they've done a lot of time over the years, and he is a proven goal kicker, so he will need to prove his worth here. Yeah, he nearly did, touched over the line. So Uraidla mounting a challenge. Would have kicked two behinds this term. They dearly need to make them goals and pull back this advantage. As Fuller took the kick out from Giorgio, the two ex-Nord boys combining there, puts up line to another Nord man. The triumph of the Nord boys, Peter Bampton. So Bampton deep in defence, he'll go back in the Nord waxing and he'll go across, maybe, no, to Giorgio, no. Looks like he's going to kick up the line this time. So Fuller gets some space and goes bang on that left foot. Target here will be Braidwood. Landers works him under the ball and takes a good defensive mark, the young Uraidla ruckman.
Very good intercept contested mark there by Landers. Doesn't want to waste any time. A bit of an outside drop punt kick. Hits the pack. As expected, no mark comes out of it, but a ball up does. So now about 25-30 metres out, not on a particular angle, but certainly not directly in front. But Lobie, the first ones to it. That'll save them a bit of trouble. I believe the one who was clearing it on his kick there was Bampton. It's come through, though, through the corridor, having a free ping at goal, and then coming through the hands. That was a bit of a wasted opportunity there, I believe. Luke Thomas with that kick at goal that didn't make the distance.
So 8 minutes gone, final term. We've had a combined total of 5 points scored. Indy, so both sides desperately seeking goals. One to probably wrap up the game, the other one to get back into it. It's a 9-10 to 5-7 on the Sportal scoreboard. So Alex Giorgio to Squid. Runs out to square, puts it out wide. Archie will cut it off. Oh, well worked by Scrappy. Sold a bit of candy. He's looking to feed it off the zip-zap Sewell, which he does. Sewell with a long swimming handball. Here's little Jack Bampton pumping the little legs with a sit for it. Gathers it. Gets onto the left. Pushes one forward. Bouncing ball. Intercepted there by Schultz, the young man running out of defence. Pushes up the line and finds Taylor. So almost coast-to-coast work there by the Tigers. Just couldn't get a score. Ball in the centre ground, finds Amato. You know he won't give up. Worked hard all afternoon. Puts it here. Clark, clean bowl there. The Sheriff gets a handball. Fuller tried a soccer. Price, desperate effort at ground level, holds the ball in.
Holds it in where the turf is at its thickest, as you can see there. Good thing it's not a wet day, because otherwise you get a lot of brown jumpers and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two teams. High tackle comes in here, going Lobethal's way. Riley will take the free kick. Amato will stand the mark. Kicks short. A little bit of a chip there. Well, the mark was paid a bit prematurely, but, well, lucky for Mitch Grigg, he'll take it.
That's an anticipation decision, Indy, I'd suggest.
Oh no, he's called it a ball up.
Well, he's sort of error of his ways. Here's Riley once again, trying to bullock his way through with a couple hanging off him. Nick Amato. So umpire Williams coming in, and Riley just keen to milk the clock down there a bit. Why not? As we've played just over 10 minutes, so maybe just over halfway. This turn comes back to Price. Quick kick forward. Is Clark, one grab, two grab. Here's Mitch Jenkins. He's run down from behind by Turlick. Brazier, quick hands to Taylor. High kick is the foot race between Archie and Skinner. Riley variety. Skinner wraps him up and actually walks him over the boundary line adjacent to the behind post. So we'll have a throw in Longwood Road end of the ground.
Don't think there's been a goal in this quarter yet.
No,
Chad.
as I said, 5 behinds, mate. So, yeah, just... So, boundary, high pitch in. Clark, Archie, can he bring some magic? No, he's collared there by McWaters for the Tigers. So Uraidla pressing, but equally defensive desperation coming from the Tigers.
Ball thrown up. Comes down a turf. No tap out really, it just hit the turf and the tacklers came straight onto it, swarming around like the magpies in September.
And of course the Arnold Magpies swarming very well, going for a 5th straight flag next Saturday, and you'll see it all in the Quarter Wild, Indy.
Well, it's all in swooping season, and that's what the main reference was. But in the meantime, Lobethal have to reference their on-ballers, which they do with the 1-2 that was juggled there with Sewer, but he found himself in trouble and bit off more than he could chew. Nick Amato shouldn't waste any time trying to get this goal back. We'll see if he takes the full 30. He's lining up the mark. 28 goals for the year so far, Nick Amato. He's an elite level scoreboard pitching on-baller. Comes in on his left. Has he overcooked it? He has. Misses to the near side with a nasty hook. And that's 4 behinds now in this quarter. Tell you what, all 4 of those converted, we'd have a game here at Mount Lofty. But instead, opportunities go wayward for the Demons.
So, Giorgio puts out to Jenkins. He's spent some time off the field over a heavy collision. Good to see him back on. He's found Stafford, another one of this consistently rebounding Lobethal defence this year. So, high ball towards the outer scoreboard wing. Back in the pack was Landers. Ball comes down here. Thread out here to Cooper Luke. Finds space, goes with the hands. Up here was Collins. Intercepted there by Gresh, I think it is. The Iron Fist, as he's affectionately known. So, ball out over, umpire Dawes will ball up. So, nearly 13 minutes gone, so perhaps the alarm bell's starting to sound for the Demons at the sands of season 2022 are running out. Deflected off the chest of Jenkins. Giorgio with a clearing kick. Up forward lurking is Grigg. So it'll be a good achievement here for playing coach Aidan Riley's first season in charge, as we said, taking over from Matt Fuller, and he looks like he's going to lead them into the big dance. So well done, and plus plenty of grand final experience with himself at SNFL level with Sturt, of course. So tackle applied there by Worthley. Looks like it's Peter Banton. So just inside the 50-metre arc for the Tigers, the ball up. Ball comes down here. I think that's Taylor. He's had a pretty good game this afternoon. Dispossessed. Ball comes out in Big Clark. Tried to half volley it. Unsuccessful. Round the corner from Giorgio. Back to whence it came. Thomas. Little toe poke forward to Worthley. Horny gets the ball out to Amato. He's missed the target with his handball out over the line. Looks like it's going to be last touch. Indian will go to Timmy Jenkins.
He kept the eyes peeled. It looked like one target was there and then another swooped in. So no problems there for Peter Banton, who ran in. He's given it off to Greg. Steps around on his left. Had to weave away around a few. And that's the type of kick that Uraidla didn't have at the other end. That is the dagger in the heart. The nail in the coffin. That is the kick from Sean Grigg that will take them, Mitch Grigg, to the grand final against Hardorf.
Not as sure to his mates, or the Grigmeister General, and certainly pulling rank there, Indy, and just shows that experience. Of course, Adelaide Crows, Nord, Jack Odie medalist, Jewel McGarry medalist, and was also runner-up last week for the Hills Male medal. So decorated footballer, and certainly looks like he's heading towards another grand final. So back in the centre, Braidwood, the leaper, comes down here. Maxwell feeds the handball in here. McWater's coming through, comes back to Maxwell, goes back to Giorgio. He's got better as the game's gone. Puts it into Jackie Banton, so little Jack Andrew feeds it off to Brotherly Love gave it to Peter Banton. Goes inside, is a Carter territory. But good defensive work by Gresh. Marks on the last line of defence.
Gives it off to Archie. The kick wasn't actually good enough for Archie to take the mark on the fall, so the kick was under pressure. Now all of a sudden Lobie, if they get the Crummers back in time, can weave up something here. Well, Allen comes in with the tackle. In fact, several Demons come in, making sure that ball goes nowhere. They are still upholding the tackle pressure, mind you. The game's probably over at this point.
You can see Fuller was in all sorts of strife. Oh, great tap there. Archie drives the ball forward. Big Brave, we've got one duke to it. Here's Riley Skinner applying the pressure to Clark at ground level in the soft serve area of the ground. So umpire Bow will come up, and that's called by Indy Rogers. 16 minutes ticking over, so you just start the field game and the season slipping away from the Demons. So Clark is infringing the ruck duel by Braidwood, so Angus Clark, this past experience leg level with the Nord Redlegs, so drives it forward. Target here, Price caught behind, Worthley had a bit of an airy, taken there by the Sheriff. Just shrugs off a tackle, got down their teammate in Bampton, nurses it up. Infringed there was Grigg in the centre of the ground by Kemper, I think it might have been. So Mitch Grigg, who kicked that last goal, which couldn't have been the clinching goal until the next one, he will come back and take the free kick as Dean Turlick stands the mark. So Mitch Grigg, plenty of experience in those pair. So Mitch Grigg on the left, goes long, high kick. Here's Carter lumbering out. Can he get the sit? Yes, he can indeed. Indy Rogers, and clutches another big strong mark. So he'll go back and attempt his second goal for the game, but more importantly, perhaps another sealer.
It's all to add to the party at this point. Result is set in stone. Lobie will play Harndorf in the 2022 Grand Final at Nan Oval next weekend. But it doesn't stop the team from trying to pile up on the scoreboard, which they arguably should have dominated earlier in the game and held on to. But if it took until late to make sure of it, then so be it. And tell you what, it goes out in style there. Mitch Carter. Very nice goal from outside the arc, launches, and that's the type of skill set they're going to want to take into next week, Pistols.
Absolutely, and as they showed last week in the second half, when they came home with wet sail and ultimately fell short by 5 points. So, as I think you mentioned earlier, 2020 the two sides played off, namely Lobie and Harndorf, and that was a bit of a ring-a-ding-ding. In fact, the Tigers had the nose in front out of the Chunder Oval, only the 4-by-2 side. So it looks like a second grand final meeting in a couple of seasons. So back in the centre, Braidwood. Ball held in, here's Riley. Flicks out the handball to Timmy the Tractor. Gets a quick kick inside 50 out again. Bampton got his hands to it. Turning his way through his Lobethal cleverly puts it back to the goalkeeper in Brazier. Gretsch, who's happy enough to walk it over the line. So another behind. I think the scoreboard might be generous here. I can only think that Lobie have only kicked the 2 goals for the quarter. Unless I've missed one. So, ball comes up the line. Oh, good body work by Mitch Jenkins. It's funny, early in the game that was probably allowed, but anyway. So, Klubenik moves on quickly. Sits it out here for the run of Price. Boundary line wins out as he runs out of tarmac. So, resultant last touch kick-in will come back to Alex Giorgio, captain of the Tigers this year, has had plenty of experience. Nord, best and fairest, and spent some time with Melbourne.
Goes along down the line, near wing, Leapers got up, but no one came down unfortunately. It's hard to master the art of soaring the clouds in football, but if you could take a specky, it's most kids' dreams other than kicking after the siren. So probably second to it.
So Scrappy sends it in long, chance for Carter again over the top. I tell you, this is a aerial fest now, as Gretsch takes it, puts it out here towards Tudor. Tudor around the corner to Clark, a big fella, showing a bit of pace there, towards the outside wing. Target is spry. Good defensive work by Jenkins, brought the ball to ground level. McWater's looming. Underside what he's going to do. Finally taken up here. Quick hands by Slade. Ends up with Marto. Gives it back to Turlick, one of his few touches this afternoon. But quality touches he finds. The X Factor in Allen. So Harry Allen, long kick, Klubenik's the target, good body work, got the ball then dropped it at the last moment, comes to Amato, goes to ground, ball fed out here, Cooper Luke, this way that way, showed a bit of magic, gets the ball up the line and finds Jake Ulrich. So Amato, just a little bit of cramp, and why not, he's worked his butt off behind play. Here's Ulrich running around in circles, dog chasing his tail, finally gets the boot forward. Clark spills it, here's a chance for Carter, this way that way, gives it back to Cooper Luke, he's got time to steady, gives it the run of Ulrich through the centre, goes long inside 50 to Jack Bampton.
Bampton, the shortest man there, but positioned himself perfectly to the point where it didn't matter, and it's a perfect position actually, 20 metres out directly in front of goal.
So Jackie Bampton, the leading goal kicker on the ground at this stage. Indy with 2, so the chance to So the trifecta.
Smallest man with the biggest impact, without a doubt.
Very big heart as well, and no doubt his father Andrew will be watching, and I tell you what, he'll get around it. All that coaching in the backyard's paid off, Indy.
Absolutely. And I think you might be right about the scoreboard. So 5 goals, 838, 12 goals, 1183. Now they've added that extra goal, 13 goals, 1189, but I reckon it's 1 goal less than what the scoreboard is suggesting. So it should actually now be 83 to 38,
Absolutely.
a 45-point margin.
Yep. Generous scoreboard attendant, as we said, went for a long time just behind's been scored, and Greg kicked that first goal. There we go. They are listening to you, Indy, as all good people do.
Better check for any holes in the wall.
So, as Indy Rogers said, 12, 11, 83, Uraidla 5, 8, 38. Bearing in mind, this is getting a bit like last year, where Uraidla won 15, 12 to 4, 7, Indy. So, redemption here for the Tigers in their first final win in 20 years against Uraidla. Comes back to Slade, hacks it forward to left. Bouncy ball, well done by Stafford, kept the ball in front of him. This chance for Allen, he's picked up a few last term touches. Back out to Slade up the line, Kluvenek's the target. Has to get around Giorgio. Meanwhile, the whistle's gone from the academy boy right on the spot. Has to come back for a boundary throw-in.
So boundary throw-in, just outside the arc for Uraidla actually. And that's their first clearance win of the quarter for those keeping track. Lobie got the tap, but Uraidla the crumb and the clearance. Goes into the arc. They are winning the inside 50 count in this quarter, albeit by 1 additional entry. Here's the mark taken by Turlick. He looked like he wanted to run off and step into an open goal, but he'll take the set shot. And he hasn't had as much impact today as he's known to have, but he'll take the 2 goals I think that he's had so far. And this would be number 3. No, this is number 2 for Turlick. Nevertheless, the smallest of consolation prizes for Uraidla. At least they're not getting beaten by as much as they beat the Tigers by last year, mind you. So
Still time, that was 71 points, wasn't it? So, what do we know, 39? So, yeah, you're probably right there. Just repeating, 3/4 time, it was Gumaraka leading the country division grand final, 6-8 to 4-4. So, yeah, we'll keep you in touch with what's going on there. It's dual live streams here this afternoon on the call to while through filming Footy in the Hills Football League. So back in the centre, it's the Tigers on their way to a grand final berth in Division 1. Ball comes down to Worthley. He's locked up right in the centre square circle by Aidan Riley. So 24 and a half minutes gone, Indy, and as we suggest, the sands of time have gone run out for Uraidla, but the Tigers still pushing forward. Comes up to Carter territory, the back of the pack. Is Rodliff getting back? Will he concede the point? Yes, he does.
a lot of lazy point concessions in this quarter for Uraidla.
Yeah, that's a bit of a lazy kick out.
And that's an even lazier kick.
As he's picked out Josh Sewell, the zips-out man. So Sewell will go back and opportunity for his second of the afternoon. Kick the opening goal of the third term. So this could well be the final action. As we said, 25 minutes just about to tick over. Only the 3 goals kicked previously, but we were talking out, and as happens, Indy, he's pulled it. So Tigers, they've kicked 2-5. Uraidla have kicked 1-4 in this final term, Indy. So certainly some wasteful shots, but under pressure, but a few chances gone begging. Here's Big Clark. Dropped what he should have got. Kemper tries to steamroll his way through. Dispossessed. Here's Riley still working hard. Searching for a handball. Eventually gets out to McWaters. He's taken the ground by Slade in a tackle. Umpire Dawes will come in and ball up.
Well, the game did get to that 19-point stage, and it was one stage where it did look like it could have come out the other way and we would have been in for a tight afternoon, but unfortunately today's result will cap off an inglorious afternoon for Uraidla. They lost the B-grade prelim to Mount Lofty and now Coming inside forward 50, a rushed entry by Archie. They're set to lose this prelim to Lobethal. Not before sneaking in another goal though, as advantage is paid by the umpire, and that is goal number 3 for Dean Turlick.
Cleverneck paid the free kick, but the coach just grabbing the ball and so as you said, 3 goals for him, but obviously very much under an injury crowd and not having that, when you look at those stats you think, but hasn't had much influence on the game. Matt has, we'll end up with 57 goals for the season, Indy, so handy performance by the playing coach, but he'll be bitterly disappointed after making the big dance last year that they've fallen short. In fact, they're losing by 8 points in the grand final, and this year bundled out at the penultimate game of the season. So back, Clark gets it down, quick hands worth, the intercept here by Cooper Luke. Greg, give it back to Cooper Luke. Cleverly gets around Thomas. Luke puts it out there, and there it is, siren is gone. That's all she cried this season for Uraidla. So Lobethal running out. Pretty comprehensive winners. 12-13, 85. Have defeated Uraidla 7-8. 50, so 35-point margin there, and as I said, unbelievably the first finals win for Lobethal over Uraidla since the 2002 grand final, which was their last premiership, and they're in the mix to play off for their first premiership since next Saturday as they take on Harndorf Magpies. So just looking through the leading goal scorers, Jack Bampton had 3 for the Tigers. Carter got a couple. And Dean Turlick finishing with 3 out of the 7. But as I said, very much underdone as far as fitness went. So the season is completed for Uraidla. So both sides getting it. It's a hard-fought game, but played in good spirit. So the players just extending their best wishes after an entertaining game. So, just recapping, Lobie, and as we'll discuss in our post-match coming up shortly, Lobethal out the block, 6-2 to 1 behind, really set the game up. Andy Rogers, who's been with me this afternoon, set the game up. They led by 31 points, quarter time, 26. Lobethal didn't score a goal in that second term, but they still held a 26-point lead. Then they led by 28 points at 3/4 time, and finally 35-point margin. So virtually that opening term, Indy just set the ball, and the Demons forced to play catch-up football for the rest of the game.
Well, it's funny because in the opening quarter, the centre clearances were 2-5 Uraidla's way. They got Amato on ball, they got their best midfielders, and they managed to clear it out of the centre square quickly, but it wasn't swiftly and effectively. And Lobethal set up in the defensive end numerous times throughout this game to spread the ground and be able to score easily from the outer wing and near wing territories, and they even took the corridor down sometimes, scored quite a few from turnovers as well. The final stats for the game read 14 centre clearances to 9, so even though Uraidla won a lot of them in that early quarter where they did get dominated, you'd probably argue that they improved the less centre clearances they won. In fact, they didn't get any in the second quarter.
But the stat there, as we said, it was 6-2 to behind quarter time, but Uraidla, the centre clearances was 5-2.
Yep, that's correct.
You look at that stat, as you said,
stats don't tell the full story, unfortunately.
And country division, we can tell you, 24 minutes gone, so deep in the last quarter. Gums are 6-10, Meadows are 6-8, so 2-point ball game. So we'll stay on there and try and bring you that. Of course, that's been shown on the other Filming Footy channel. Sorry, back to you, Indy.
No,
as we said, that stat's a little bit damning, isn't it?
Yeah, the inside 50 entries 43-32, not a massive difference, and you don't win games based on forward 50 entries alone, but Uraidla were quite ineffective with a lot of theirs. 12 goals 13 to 7 goals 8. Neither team was particularly effective, but it's what you see off the ball, the entries that don't actually count for scores. And Uraidla had to settle for a lot of forward 50 stoppages, which they weren't particularly comfortable with, because Lobie, while maybe they lost the centre clearance count, I reckon around the ground, just watching the game, the stoppages in the inside 50 and defensive 50 seem to be a lot more noteworthy. I'm already hearing Benny Goldfish's voice get completely broken as we're just waiting on the final results of that.
We're down the line. Benny getting excited at Macclesfield. It sounds like a 2-point ball game at the moment. It's a Country Division Grand Final, so we'll bring you the final result as soon as we can get that one down the line. Now, Uraidla, they fought back, as we said, second quarter. Lobie not scoring only the 3 behinds. They're getting 2 goals there, Uraidla, and they had enough to play, but they just couldn't capitalise, could they?
Yeah, I think with a lot of clever and skillful ball users in their midfield, you probably would have expected a closer game based on that. And Amato did try his heart out, but you can't rely on Amato alone to get everything done. And the unfortunate truth is they've gotten to a prelim, but they finished, I believe, it was 5th or 4th after a regular season? 4th. And wasn't much of an improvement from last year, so you'd have to question where a lot of that improvement's come from. Archie's been very good, and he was good today, probably their second best player on the ground.
I tell you, he's had a really good final series. Perhaps, during one of the experienced recruits, Scott Taylor, number 3, South Adelaide and SNFL and Old Scotch in Adelaide Footy League experience, and just today and also the finals series he's come of age, so to speak. He's really shown his true worth for them. Archie saved his best for the finals. Really, Harry Allen, as I said, he's the X factor. Here we are, the final scoring to you. Gumaraka have won the Country Division A grade premiership, 6-11-47 to 6-8-44. So 3-point margin in favour of Gumaraka. So I tell you what, Meadows loved living on the edge. Last week they won the preliminary final, last kick by 1 point, and unfortunately on the losing end 3 points. So well done to Gumaraka, adding to their 2019 premiership. And also, ironically, India, 100 years since they won their first premiership. They've been wearing replica jerseys of the 1922 premiership side. So there you go. So cycles work, don't they? 100 years on.
Yeah, well, most heritage or anniversary years at the major level, AFL level, don't go too well in recent history. So it's nice to see that they were able to celebrate a milestone season with a bit more of a bang this time around. So congratulations to Gumaraka, the 22 Division 2.
I tell you what, boys, we covered that last premiership they won, which was their first one for something like 35 years. So you reckon the big horse will be rocking again tonight, I'd suggest. The traditional climbing of it at about midnight. Hopefully they don't
Very notable quote to come from their captain post the results on that very day against Kersbrook. Well, I reckon to summarise this result in Uraidla's season, it has unfortunately come from having to chase behind. They did finish 4th and having to play those consecutive games and not get that double chance from just finishing a bit higher.
Yeah.
May have costed them a bit, and they had a fantastic win against Mount Barker last week for sure, but
I think when you look at it though, head to head, they could not beat Lobie this season. Both times Lobie have beaten them convincingly, 13-5. It's a game we did actually on the Quarter Wild, and 16-11 the next game.
Yeah, well, I find this interesting because I actually think that sometimes losing to teams in the regular season and then coming up against them again in the finals can be a blessing in disguise, because it gives you the extra homework. Psychologically, it gives you that burning reminder that you've got to do the homework, and it makes you feel obligated to put in those extra hours, watch back the tapes and learn where the improvements need to come from. And we saw in the qualifying final last night at AFL level the Brisbane Lions getting smashed by the Demons twice in regulation, and then all of a sudden they do the work for the semi-final, they do the research, the homework, they get prepared, they come with a plan, they come with a plan B. Unfortunately, Uraidla didn't have too much of a plan B other than to slow down the process of the game, and it did grind to a bit more of a halt in the second quarter. But you'd have to question the sacrifice of that was the ability to convert forward with a lot of confidence. Lobethal had a lot of spare defenders, and that's because they didn't need to storm home, they didn't need to stomp on the neck.
And I think it was that third term, if my memory suits me right, they got within 19 points, and we thought, well, another goal here makes this interesting. But the Tigers, as they had all day, were able to counter. But as I said, having that 30 1 point margin at quarter time. It's always catch-up football, and it's very difficult to come back from there, as you know. But anyway. All right, just looking at, as I said, final scores. Preliminary final, Division 1, Lobethal 12-13 have defeated Uraidla 7-8. Major goal kickers for Lobethal, Jack Banton got 3, Mitch Grigg 2, Carter with 2. Singles to Stafford, Braidwood, Peter Banton, Sewer, Collins, and Stafford with a rare goal by the defender. And for Uraidla, a bit more sparse. Turlick ended up with 3, but obviously wasn't a fit player. Schultz, Ferrari, Landers and Clark. So as we said, in the end, 35-point margin. And also the news, we can tell you Gamaraka have won the Country Division A grade flag by 3 points, so well done to them. Alright, so that wraps us up here. I've got to thank our sponsors, of course our media sponsors, Filming Footy, Sports Interactive and Dartfish. Of course HFL sponsors Police Credit Union, West End, Sharon, Courier Newspaper, Sports Fair, Rossdale Homes and MAC Road Safety, and our special exclusive sponsors throughout the final series here on the Call to Wild, Closey Supermarkets and Sportel. Indy, thanks very much, mate. Great to renew ties with you behind the microphone.
Yeah, it was a massive privilege coming up here today, and I've called football at many different levels throughout the year in Community League and Amateur League, but there is something very special about the atmosphere of the Hills Football League and the different locations that we get to go to. So it's very nice to be back here calling games with you, Jeff, and it was nice to get that opportunity for a bit of a reunion, and I hope that we do get opportunities to cross paths more times in the future.
Yeah, we look, here in the Hills, we follow with interest the progress of some of the players who go down to bigger and better things, and it works the same in the commentary field, mate. So all the best to you, mate, with that. And also, of course, we've got to thank the great man. Great to have a reunion with him again too. Dallas Rogers, who's the Filming Footy, brought you all the pictures down the barrel this afternoon. Busy man, producing and doing the film. Does it all, our man Dallas. So that's it. All right. Well, we look forward to next Saturday, the climax of the 2022 Call to Wild season, when we bring you the Hills Football League Division 1 Grand Final Day, all the way from Nan Oval. Looking forward to that. First time Nan has hosted it. Of course, streaming the full program of matches from early in the morning. As I said, Indy might be breakfast shift early. You're not free next Saturday morning, are you? We'll get you on. But we'll bring you all the interviews, the matches and the excitement as we decide the Premier teams for this season. So trust you can join us on Filming Footy. So on behalf of all the crew, Jeff Pistola signing off from Markabar Oval here in Heathfield with the news. Lobethal through to the big dance in Division 1. Victory over Uraidla, and Gamaraka have won the Country Division Premiership for this season. So until we speak again, chasing your goals, Jeff Pistola signing off. Catch you next time.